brisket and caramelized onions on top of their ham-patted burger, or the famous Art Attack with house bacon, smoked ham, an onion ring, and a fried egg. There are 10 different burgers to choose from, and they're all $1 off every Saturday. Art's Barbecue Burgers and more. Rogers Avenue next to Buddy's in Fort Smith.
When you need tough and paint just isn't enough, check out River City Coatings in Van Buren. When it comes to your metals, paint can peel and crack over time. Whether it's your patio furniture, rims or trims on your automobile, or heavy equipment, no one has time for a redo. Powder coating provides the toughness you need. Preserve your investment with powder coating from River City Coatings. River City Coatings, certified John Deere, Caterpillar, ISO 9001, Packer, and UL provider of tough. River City Coatings, 471-7675 or online at rivercitycoatings.com.
The tires on your vehicle go round and round, but when they don't, go to Van Alma Tire. They have tires in their name. That's their specialty. Van Alma Tire is all about tires. They have all the name brands and private labels available for you and in stock. So when it comes to getting tires for your ride, it's worth the drive. And financing is available. Ask for details. Whatever your tire need, check out Van Alma Tires on Highway 64 between Van Buren and Alma. Ready to get you rolling on new tires at Van Alma Tire.
Remodeling your bathroom? Don't let your imagination be limited by out-of-the-box shower doors or tub enclosures. Arkansas Glass and Mirror is your local source for all things glass, including plexiglass, mirrors, and shower doors since 1964. Arkansas Glass and Mirror has more selections, better prices, and the experience to help you build the shower of your dreams. They also have the only showroom in the area to help you create those dreams. Professional installation and professional service. Only at Arkansas Glass and Mirror, 1316 South C Road, Fort Smith, or online at arkansasglassandmirror.com.
I know we're always on the go, heading to Fayetteville, Little Rock, Oklahoma City, and you need a place to fill up. But not just for gas. I need snacks, drinks, and a restroom that doesn't make me throw up. That's why my new favorite pit stop is Jam Mart number 10, located at 6201 Grand Avenue on the way out of town. I can't stop by without getting something from their hot box or a fresh made burger. That's Jam Mart number 10, located at 6201 Grand Avenue in Fort Smith.
When I need a place to stay in Northwest Arkansas, I always choose the Inn at the Mill. It's centrally located in the heart of NWA at the Johnson exit off I-49 and is the most unique choice of hotels in the region. Whether you're in town for the game, a concert at the Amp, business travel, or just a weekend away, the Inn at the Mill has a spacious, clean room ready for you. Reserve your stay at the Inn at the Mill, 479-443-1800, or visit innatthemill.com. The Inn at the Mill, where the past meets the present.
ESPN Arkansas weather.
Tonight, showers and occasional thunderstorms. An overnight low will drop down into the lower to mid-70s. We'll see a chance of showers and thunderstorms on Wednesday. High temperatures on Wednesday will be in the mid-80s north, low 90s south, and a few more showers and storms hanging on Thursday. I'm Sally Russell with your forecast on ESPN Arkansas.
The weather is brought to you by real estate agents Nick and Ellie Glidewell. Ready to serve.
OS.com.
KERX Paris Fort Smith. The Bud Light Countdown is on. Arkansas football begins in 43 days. Coming to you live from the Crabtree RV Center studios. Broadcasting on ESPN Arkansas and streaming on hitthatline.com.
We got a good one tonight. You got a team in here that doesn't respect it. Ask me if I'm all right. Why can't they dominate? And we not doing it.
We're going to go get one and celebrate on somebody else's field.
Well,
Both said you had very motivational words at halftime.
It's halftime with Bill Olson and Matt Jones.
from the bottom of my toes to the top of my head. My heart, dog. Let's go, man.
I have zero respect for saying no moss at halftime.
Name of one Razorback.
It's vintage Matt Jones.
1, 2, 3. Here we go. Right now, let's take the field.
Call or text 877-377-6963. Now, here's Phil Olson and Matt Jones.
Morning, everybody. Hope everyone's safe across our listening audience. It's been raining for over 12, maybe 13 hours across parts of our listening audience, mostly those who may be listening on our 104.3 Harrison signal. It's upwards of 11 inches in parts of our listening area. Flash flood warnings. So still raining now, and hopefully the rivers will start will get to the crest and start getting down pretty soon. But it is nasty out there right now. I know we always say we need the rain. I don't know if we need this much all at once. I'm Phil Elson. Matt Jones, my partner, Christian Johnston, the C Unit, is in the producer's chair today. Good morning to you both. We all dry today. How's it going outside the studios?
Life is good. Yeah, that storm came through. It's been a good morning. I had a Topo Chico, broke the water bottle, spilt it. Wore an all white shirt, spilt my coffee on my shirt this morning. So yeah, it's a good Wednesday.
Spilling your water early in the morning fits that theme, I think, with flash floods today. So
just doing my part. That's right.
Yeah. If only it was carbonated water falling from the sky. You could just go outside, stand out there, and turn your head up to the heavens and open your mouth, and it would give you everything you need for the day. Instead of $125 to get just a couple of 6-packs of that stuff. That is the good stuff, but it is awfully expensive. Hey, yesterday was a wild day here on Halftime. We had about 5 different people on the show. Today it's died down a little bit. We got Clay Henry with us in about an hour. It's been a while since we spoke to Clay because he was on the road for 2 weeks, and so I'm sure we'll hear about the trip out to Colorado and everything that went along with it. And we also get it is 70th birthday. Somebody made a Clay Henry Fisher bobble doll for him, a 1 of 1. So I know he's got to be pretty proud about that. Matt, have you seen bobblehead dolls of yourself before? I'm sure you have. You probably signed a couple of them too.
I don't know if they were more on what Barry Bonds were on, those dolls, than it was a bobblehead doll. But yeah, it's always weird seeing a little Randy Ram action figure.
Just kind of bop that head up and down. It looked to me that was Clay's head that could bop up and down, but I always thought an extra little action to it. Like if it's a Fisher bobble, should be able to toss the line out there at the same time. So we'll hear from Clay in about an hour, and we'll speak with Grant Hall in about 10 minutes. Of course, you got the British Open that's starting up tomorrow morning. So I know he's all in on that, and it is day 3 of SEC Media Days. So we'll also talk today with Tommy Kraft and Ty Richardson, who are both at Radio Row. I've already heard from Alabama, should be hearing from Mississippi State right about now. Florida and Texas are also on the schedule. So we heard from Kalen DeBoer, and, I'd say it's somebody everyone definitely wants to hear from if you are the Alabama head coach. But with Nick Saban also in attendance makes it just a little bit different than in other situations. Jeff Lebby, brand new Mississippi State coach, should be speaking right about now. Billy Napier and Steve Sarkisian. Of course, tomorrow we'll get Sam Pittman along with A&M, Auburn, and Kentucky. I think tomorrow we should be able to speak with some of the players that are in attendance with Coach Pittman, Andrew Armstrong, Landon Jackson, and Taylon Green. Got our eyes on the All-Star game last night. And, I was reading about it. I didn't realize this watching the game. It is Globe Life Field is a smaller ballpark capacity-wise than a lot of other parks. I think that's the way that cities build major league parks now. Kind of not looking at 55 to 60,000, looking at more to 40,000 or so. But I don't know if you can announce a sellout if you didn't reach capacity. So I know capacity at Globe Life Field is a little over 40,000. The announced attendance was under 40,000, but they still called it a sellout. And I think to myself, Matt, like for me, part of the story of this game is not the final score because it's an exhibition. Seeing some of these guys do their thing and learning about Duran Duran, who's the All-Star MVP that probably not many people have heard of. The All-Star game not being a sellout, I think would be a story too. It almost feels like it's turned into a mid-level college football bowl game where it is just about programming and you get guys that opt out. Rafael Devers opted out in order to You're not going to use that term in baseball, but to rest an injury. And, I mean, there's really nothing at stake for these guys because they don't have the pride in their league that you used to have with that. So that just hit me a little bit. Might need to take the price of admission and lower it a little bit because not as many people want to get in as usual.
100% lower the price of admission, but you can't have it all. You can't do all this interdivision stuff and then say, hey, we're going to have an American League, National League. It's not even the same thing anymore. So you've kind of tried to have your cake and eat it too. If you would get back to being more regional in your division and National League play National League, American League play American League, then you have intrigue there. Then there would be something with it. But it's just they're all glorified scrimmages now. Like you said, Phil, same thing in the NBA baseball games. They're not going to be anything worth really. You're just watching some athletes. It's like watching show ponies. It's like watching racehorses before the race. They're just kind of bouncing around the track, getting ready. But you're not actually going to see the full 100%, but the kids that they'll get to see their heroes and their players go. But I think they started messing up when you started doing all this interdivision stuff, and you had separate with American League and National League, and it helped to add to that. But now that you're all the same, it's a lot of pomp and circumstance.
I thought about that last night when so Ohtani hits a home run, 3-run homer to give the National League the lead, and Joe Davis says. There's like 5 minutes or whatever after that. He's done something that Babe Ruth has never done now because he's always good. Anything that Ohtani does will always be compared to something about Babe Ruth because of the two-way thing. It's such a misnomer to talk about things like that because I think Shohei Ohtani has now played in more All-Star games than Babe Ruth did. I mean, the first All-Star game was 1933. Ruth's last year was 1935. So what are we talking about here? So Ohtani has won a game as a pitcher and hit a home run in another All-Star game. We have to stop about those sort of things that he did something that Babe Ruth never did because Ruth only played in 2 All-Star games. So, but then it's also like Duran Duran, the guy with the tie-breaking home run. I just don't know if many fans, even like hard baseball fans that watch a game or 2 games a week or 3 games a week, unless you're a Red Sox fan or somebody that follows the American League East really, really closely, you don't know who Duran Duran is. I've not followed his career much. I don't watch many Red Sox games. I don't know much about him. I didn't know he was a 7th-round pick of the Red Sox out of Long Beach. I didn't know that he had, issues with mental health that he's been open about. But I guess that's partially what the All-Star Game's about in some cases. And I agree with you too, Matt. Like I was all for interleague play when it started in the late 90s, just because it felt like it'd be something new. It would be fun. There was a novelty aspect to it. Now everybody plays everybody throughout the season, and the novelty aspect has completely gone away, and any importance to that game, the All-Star Game, has been washed away with it. So I don't know. At some point, I do think that baseball will realign into geographic leagues, and at that point, maybe they do what we see what the NBA has done in some cases, where you pick captains, they pick the teams. You'll have to do it a couple days ahead of time because you got to figure out who's going to pitch and who's on proper rest to be able to pitch. But I mean, I think I'd get a kick out of watching 2 captains pick teams for a pickup baseball game.
I'm with you with what you're saying, but I also think you might need to do a USA versus the world type thing, especially in the NBA with all this international talent, USA versus internationals. However, you kind of like I guess the Ryder Cup does, and maybe you could do something with that in baseball as well. But that's it. I'd like to see him go back to American League plays American League, and if you want to have an out of conference game or whatever, yeah, maybe there's 2 weeks in the season. You pick 2 other crosstown that you want to home there in an away series that you play. But keep it American League playing American League and National League playing a National League. Then you have something to debate about. Then you have something to talk about. And that's half the intrigue right there.
Well, then I feel you really have somebody to root for. Like I grew up a National League guy. I used to root for the National League. Yesterday, I'm watching the game with my son. I didn't care who won the game. I wanted to see Paul Skeens pitch well. I wanted to see Skeens against Aaron Judge, which we got to see for 1 pitch.
Even if it was longer than it was almost as long as Aaron Rodgers' season last year.
That's right. It was 1 pitch. And when Brian Reynolds gets up to hit in the ninth inning with a chance to tie the game, I thought, that'd be cool if he does it, but he struck out, and it didn't bum me out all that much because at that point I was tired. I was ready to go to sleep, so it was okay. It used to be, you want to go back to the Babe Ruth thing for a moment, when the All-Star game first was invented by I forget the gentleman's name, he was a newspaper writer for I think the Chicago Sun-Times. I mean, the American League and National League, not only did they really despise each other, you did not have players that played in both leagues very often then, if at all. They viewed themselves as, I'm an AL guy or I'm an NL guy. They would play however many games the World Series took and the All-Star game. So at most, there might be 8 NL, AL games played. Now there's, hundreds of them. So it just doesn't have the same feeling.
What happened to red, white, and blue for USA? This is the United States of America. We're in it's like I'm going to ask Clay Henry, like their uniforms I could use to go catch a trout with.
Like turquoise.
They look like fishing lures.
Off pink a little bit.
It's like, get it. What are we doing? We're going fishing? We're America. It's red, white, and blue. United States of America. The American League, the National League. If you're not going to wear it, I'd like them to wear, if you want to call them kits, if you want to call them uniforms, I like them to wear their home uniforms if you're the home team, your away uniform if you're the away team. Or you make an American League and a National League, and it's red, white, and blue. It's not a fishing lure.
Not like puce and off pink and
chartreuse,
off coffee color along with it too. From what Manfred said, I think I think they're going to be going back to the players wearing their team uniforms. But yeah, those didn't look good either. The ballpark looked good. The game was really good. I thought it was an entertaining game. But it still feels like the All-Star game is broken and it ain't going to be fixed anytime soon. But we'll take a break in just a moment. Again, setting up halftime here for you throughout the day. A lot of college football talk. Of course, it's day 3, SEC Media Days. Clay Henry will be with us. We have Ty Richardson. We've got Tommy Kraft. And in just a moment, Grant Hall stops by halftime. So stay with us. We'll be right back.
This is halftime.
The Morning Rush with Ty Richardson, Tommy Kraft, and Chuck Barrett.
Coach, you mentioned money. I think we'd be remiss if we didn't ask you, how much do you have on Mystic Dan at Churchill Downs?
I had 100 across on it, is what I had, and it paid $37.22. And I'm just like you. I go, well, hell, I knew 18-1 was going to win.
Don't miss the Morning Rush. Weekdays from 6 till 9, only on ESPN 95.3 and hitthatline.com.
Drive a compact SUV that has more style, power, and technology with the 2023 Buick Envision at Harry Robinson Buick GMC. Right now, get financing as low as 0.9% for 36 months with approved credit and $3,500 in factory discounts. The Buick Envision. It's all about you and designed to inspire. Experience the new Buick at Harry Robinson Buick GMC. Exit 11 off of I-540 in Fort Smith.
Family, that's what sets us apart. Crabtree RV Center, founded in 1950 by E.J. and Aline Crabtree, family owned and operated, serving Arkansas for 74 years.
I've been working full-time here at Crabtree RV since 1996 after graduating from the University of Arkansas, where I'm proud to carry on my grandparents' legacy.
I know if Mom and Dad could see Crabtree RVs today, they would be so proud.
Crabtree RV Center in Alma, making your family's dreams come true for over 70 years.
It seems like everything is more expensive this year, but replacing your AC doesn't have to be. If you need to replace your AC this summer, before you commit, price check with Paschal. You can save money and use the professionals to replace your system. Enjoy the peace of mind knowing you chose the best option for your home. Visit gopaschal.com and with just a few clicks, see how much you can save with the Paschal price check. Paschal Air, Plumbing, and Electric.
We're back with the action. Coke Zero Sugar might be the best Coke ever.
That's right, Jim. With an irresistible taste and zero sugar, Coke Zero Sugar is a must-try for any sports fan. So make sure you... Wait, Jim, I didn't mean try it right now. We're still on the air.
Best Coke ever? Take a taste, Jen.
Really?
No, not right now, Jen. We got a game to call.
Missing or broken teeth? Sharp Smiles wants you to start chewing again with dental implants. Scared of the dentist? Sharp Smiles will help you overcome your fear. Big dental problems? Sharp Smiles Modern Dentistry and Implants is your answer to your dental needs and services, where your smile is top priority. Get the smile you have always wanted from the friendly faces at Sharp Smiles, 2600 Market Trace, Suite B, off Jenny Lind across from Harps. For more information, visit the website at sharpsmilesdds.com or call 648-9988.
Do you want to see the Dallas Cowboys take on the Philadelphia Eagles at AT&T Stadium in Arlington, Texas on November 10th? Can you eat a Monster Burger in 150 seconds to qualify for the football trip of a lifetime? It's the 19th annual football trip of a lifetime brought to you by Hardee's, ESPN Arkansas, and hitthatline.com. Go to hitthatline.com for more details and let's secure your seat at the table.
After I drop the kids off, I have to run across town for a meeting, hit the gym during lunch. Jake has soccer tonight, and Emily has gymnastics? Oh, did I turn on the crock pot this morning?
With a never-ending to-do list, it's easy to forget something important, like setting up a life insurance plan with Shelter Insurance. Your local Shelter agent can show you how to create a safety net for your family. Shelter Life Insurance Company, Columbia, Missouri.
See Agent Chris Dooley in Fort Smith.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
Ain't no woman like the one I got. Every day the sun comes up around her, she can make the birds sing harmony. Every drop of rain is glad found her. Heaven must have made her just for me. When she smiles, a sight for sore eyes to see. Ooh, ain't no.
Find Halftime on 99.5 in Northwest Arkansas, 95.3 in Fort Smith and the River Valley, 96.3 in Hot Springs and Central Arkansas, 104.3 in Harrison and Mountain Home, and everywhere on hitthatline.com. Join the conversation. Call or text 877-377-6963. Now back to the hosts. Here's Phil Elson and Matt Jones.
Headed to our hotline right now. Got Grant Hall with us today on a Wednesday morning. Always appreciate your time today, Grant. You watched, what'd you think of the All-Star game last night? It was a good game, wasn't it?
Yeah, I was disappointed. I'm a National League guy, and they took that 3-0 lead, and I thought, here we go, but that was it. They lost 5-3. So
what does it mean to be a National League guy now?
Probably nothing to those guys. I mean, we've gone to where the game meant something, and who can forget Pete Rose running over the catcher to win the game?
Yeah,
Ray Fawcett injuring him, and it really meant something back now. I mean, these guys are kibitzing with each other, and from the home run derby on to being mic'd during the game, it's kind of at one time, Phil, the NBA All-Star game meant a lot, and it was great play, high-level play. Now it's just kind of a silly exhibition. So I hate to see the All-Star game going that way, but
it's funny. So look at it in these terms too, Matt. This could work. Nobody would ever do this though. Like there isn't. Do we really have pride? AFC versus NFC. Do we really have pride about National League versus American League? Wales Conference, Campbell Conference used to be a thing. You know what All-Star games would work? If you had the best of any of the sports from the SEC playing against the All-Stars out of the Big Ten. Now there you have conference loyalty. League loyalty exists in college sports, not so much when it comes to professional sports.
Somebody was saying this morning that at least let the guys wear their own uniforms instead of those monstrosities they were wearing last night. Someone asked Greg Sankey today about an All-Star game with the SEC player, just in-season All-Star game, and I don't think they can do that. But I've lost so many brain cells, guys, watching the 3 days so far of SEC media days, and it's like there was more buzz 3 years ago when the news came out about Texas and Oklahoma coming into this league than there has been. This has been kind of like the least explosive SEC media days I can remember. To me, Nick Saban is just chewing the scenery. I mean, the guy's retired, but we see him way more than we ever did before. We've seen more personality out of him in these 3 days than we did in 17 years as coach at Alabama. He's been incredibly interesting. He does his homework to a degree. He's probably the only guy there that's watched all the game film of all the spring games, such as they are anymore. Asked great questions. So he talked to Kiffin for 45 minutes the other day, getting ready for this thing. It kibitzes with Kirby Smart, and to me, that's kind of been the story of these 3 days. It's just the looming presence of Nick Saban, even to the point of being on the same dais with DeBoer today. That's a first chance for a lot of us to really see DeBoer in any length. And he was impressive. He looks like Steve Stricker, the golfer. That's one thing, But I just always had thought that when you retire, you kind of step back and let the next guy have his time. And I still see Saban's looming presence over this whole thing.
Is Saban going to, because I like listening to Stan Van Gundy call NBA games. And as far as the NFL draft, with your point with Saban, that was one of the best parts of the NFL draft, was listening to Saban evaluate and talk about these players. Is Nick Saban going to be on a crew this year for college football? Will he be doing play-by-play?
I don't think he's on games. I know he's on game day.
Okay.
So he'll be part of the studio setup for ESPN post-game and pre-game. And, man, I mean, the way you put it, Grant, we should have known that that's what it was going to be about, right? Because the biggest day of SEC Media Days, heck, the biggest moment was the moment that he would walk in. You'd have all the autograph seekers. I mean, St. Nick, all of that. Yeah. But that was just one day. Like, it wasn't there for the whole thing. Like, he's actually there for the whole thing. So, of course, that had to be more about him.
Yeah, you see his nostrils flaring, and I'm not sure that he's feeling now that he really should have stepped out when he did. He still kind of wants to coach, so he's doing it through media. Very interesting.
DeBoer seems like it doesn't bother him at all. I mean,
no, he's very, very deferential. The guy's lost 12 games in 10 years or something like that. So he knows about success, and I think they've got, like he said, they got 10 starters coming back. It's funny. Alabama's projected to win 9.3 games this year. Matt, doesn't that feel kind of low for them? That would be like a disastrous season for Alabama, just 9.3 wins.
I think Alabama still has just as much talent as they have in the SEC. 9 wins. Ooh, I think Alabama gets into the play. If you were to ask me to pick right now, Georgia would be a pick, and Alabama would be a pick in the playoff 12, and I'm going to have to go Ole Miss as much as it hurts me right now. But those would be my 3. And I know the SEC probably will get 4, but right now it would be Georgia, Ole Miss, and Alabama.
And you probably could throw Texas in there. I mean, they seem to be getting a lot of regard. I mean, it's funny, 3 years ago, they didn't seem near ready to come into this league, but now they do. So, like it or not, they seem to be pretty good. I think Sarkisian has his moment this afternoon at some point.
Do they have the best? Sorry, Phil. Do they have the best quarterback in the SEC? Is it just clearly that Quinn Ewers is the best one?
Yeah, along with Carson Beck. I mean, I was looking at Heisman odds a while ago. One was 8-1 and one was 10-1 or something like that, maybe 10 and 12. So those are considered, pretty close together. Some other ones, it's all runs together after 3 days. But there were about 6 or 7 on the list, and of course they're all quarterbacks. When I vote for the Heisman Trophy each year, I make it a point to have one non-quarterback on there. With all due regard, Matt, to quarterback and how important it is, it's supposed to be the best college football player. So but I understand the importance of that position, and I'm sure you appreciate it too.
Well, I think Grant, I'm with you. I think it's overdone. I don't think it's always the quarterback is the best college football player. I think the players help. They show what if the quarterback has a lot of flaws or if the quarterback is good by having some other good talent around you. And a lot of times, it's just like, well, we'll give it to the quarterback, but I don't necessarily think it's always the quarterback who is the best player on these teams.
Milroe of Alabama, who they sat for one game last year to kind of make a point that, we want you to play this way, not the way you're trying to play. But he's very good, and they say he's the first one in the building every day at 4:30 or 5 o'clock in the morning. That was you, Matt, wasn't it? You were the first one in there at 5 a.m. every day, right?
I had Don Decker. Grant, you had to get your workout in before classes, and I had class started at 9, so I had to be there to get your workout done.
Yeah,
Grant. So I'm looking at the list here of this on Bet Saracen for just odds on a Heisman Trophy. You'd have to go. Travis Hunter from Colorado is the leading non-quarterback when it comes to the odds. And let me do a quick count here, okay? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. 14, 16, 18, 20. He is the 23rd leading. He is the 23rd best option, according to Bet Saracen, to win the Heisman. And he's the first non-quarterback. 22 quarterbacks ahead of the first non-quarterback as far just on Bet Saracen's odds. So, I mean, we know what this award is.
Harold Perkins is pretty good at LSU, and Luther Burden, I mean, some say he's the best player. I mean, but receiver, it's harder to make that impact. So we'll see what happens this year if anybody can kind of break that trend.
Hey, Grant, I know we got a big golf tournament coming up this weekend, and kind of my rule of thumb is if a guy finishes in the top 20 of the Scottish Open, I kind of think they have a good chance winning this next weekend. What are your thoughts? How are you looking at it? Are you kind of looking at a guy like DeChambeau? Are you looking at somebody who played last week in the Scottish Open, like a Theegala, a Brian Harman, who did well in the Scottish Open that could carry that over this week?
Well, let me preface this by something I read the other day. Yogi Berra once said, predictions are hard, especially about the future. So that's how I feel about predictions. They're hard, but I was thinking about this a little bit. I like Morikawa because he's had something like 4 top 5s in the last 6 events, something like that. He thinks he's got a great chance, and he was not invited into the interview room this week and could very well feel, that he should have been. So sometimes if a guy has an edge like that, he probably doesn't putt well enough maybe to win, except that over there these greens are so slow. Man, if you've seen, it's just lush. They've had a lot of rain. It's green rather than brown as it often is. And they're going to, the weather, you never know about the weather is going to be, but there's going to be some rain, I think, tomorrow. A little bit tougher conditions. Royal Troon is interesting. They've got that postage stamp green where Gene Sarazen made a hole-in-one when he was 71 years old. It's about 110 yards, Matt. It's going to be 99 yards one day. So I love it. I love the
Grant,
British
you're the
Open,
second person on the show that's used that. I think Chuck used the term postage stamp hole. Describe exactly what that means. I can kind of picture it in my mind, but exactly what does that mean?
It's number 8 at Royal Troon, and they have what they call a coffin bunker to the left of that thing. And yesterday, Johnson Wagner was in there hitting a ball, and he hit it out, but went into the bunker on the other side. It's just a very small green, and when the wind's behind you, it might be a little bit easier to hit some kind of little wedge, but when it's into you, they said that there's a writer named John Huggin that I sit with at the Masters each year. He covers European golf wonderfully, and he actually laid up when he played that hole one year. The wind was so fierce, he wanted to be in front of the green rather than one of those bunkers, So if the wind gets pumping, that's going to be a really fun hole to watch. But as far as I think Rory is the number 2 favorite. Of course, he's had some really tough near misses in majors the last few years, and would love to see him get it done. But I'm going to stick with Morikawa this week.
Rory was on the first page of the leaderboard at the Scottish Open. He's there. I'm kind of with you. I don't know if Morikawa can putt good enough. I even think Bobby McIntyre, who won the Scottish Open, he has been playing good. He's a local guy. I wouldn't be surprised.
The only thing about him, Matt, is they said he said he might still be drunk on Thursday morning.
That means he's going to be good. That means he's going to shoot 63 the first round.
Yeah, he changed his pressure from Monday to Wednesday. He was still celebrating. So we'll see if he gets back into playing mode now.
Well, we'll see if the hangover, tapers off by the time he's got to make the cut.
Alex Noren's another guy, a young Swede that's been playing well too. Kind of like to see him get over the hump. Tony Finau is another fan favorite of mine that I like to see him play well.
Yeah, good value there, as they say.
Grant, we'll leave it there. I'm right up against it. Always appreciate your time. Thanks for coming on. And I got to apologize because I think this is the first time since you've been inducted into the Arkansas Sports Writers and Sportscasters Hall of Fame that we did not bring you in by introducing you as the Hall of Famer. So that's my bad. We'll get back on it next week, okay?
Grief. Okay, thanks. See you.
Grant Hall, Hall of Famer, with us each Wednesday on Halftime. We did mention the British Open, and of course those Heisman odds. They're all at BetSarrazin. It works right there on your Apple iPhone. Just download from the App Store. Google users from Google Play, any web browser as well. BetSarrazin.com, and well, you're going to find all sorts of preseason college football prop bets, not just about the Heisman Trophy, but pretty much every FBS team over and under win totals and conference win totals as well. Stay with us. We'll be joined by Tommy Kraft from Radio Row at SEC Media Days right after this.
This is Halftime. ESPN Arkansas is kicking off college football live from Radio Row in Dallas, Texas at SEC Media Days. Our shows provide insight on player and coach interviews, including special moments throughout the entire week. Make sure to tune in to the Morning Rush, Halftime, and Ruskin and Zach to get this unique coverage. Presented by the Stadium Shop on Razorback, WT Equipment, and Limbird Real Estate Group. You can now download our new app in the iTunes or Google Play Store. Listen anytime and anywhere on your favorite mobile device. Just search Hit That Line now.
It started as a dream, and here you are. It's moving day. But wait, isn't moving supposed to be stressful? Oh, that's right. You bought your home using Weichert Realtors. Your Weichert agent guided you from start to finish to help make sure we found you your perfect place. Dream, move, home, Weichert. Call your local Weichert Realtors office today and make your move. And look for our bright yellow signs. At Weichert Realtors, we sell more because we do more. Each Weichert franchised office is independently owned and operated.
Hi, I'm April Rose, and we all know about the speed of sound. But have you ever thought about the sounds of speeding? If you drive over the speed limit, there are lots of sounds that you might hear. You could hear the sound of your vehicle crashing, the sound of first responders desperately trying to save you. You could even hear the sound of people crying at a funeral. Because if you drive over the speed limit, you could do damage that's beyond repair. One way or another, speeding catches up with you. Paid for by NHTSA.
You're listening to Halftime live from the Crabtree RV Center studios. Crabtree RV Center, where RVing is life.
Road Chevrolet with Grant Neal. Grant, let's talk service.
Well, service is really our number one thing. Obviously, we're a car dealer. We sell cars, but service is where we see our customers the most. So right now, the service department's running a $49.95 AC diagnostic special right now. So if your air conditioner's not working, just bring it in, let us look at it. Worst case scenario, you're just going to be out to $49.95 for us to tell you exactly what's wrong with it. But we have a full team of technicians here that can work on all makes and models, and we know that it's not the right time of year to have your AC out. So please come see us if you have any issues with your vehicle.
Now, Rhodes has been here a long, long time, and there's a reason for that.
So, I mean, it's our 90th year in business this year, and we're all very excited about that. I'd like to think that it's because we really care about our customers, not just to sell you a car, but to be your car dealer for life. We want to develop a relationship with you, and that doesn't have to start with purchasing a car. If you've got a question, if you've got a problem, we really care about the people here in Crawford County, Sebastian County, and we want to be your car dealer for life.
Make a new friend or come see an old one today at Road Chevrolet, 2800 Alma Highway, Van Buren.
Are you tired of processed meat and flimsy sandwiches? Subchain's gotten to your last nerve? Then I have the place for you. Come see my buddy Jose.
This video is powered by the pros at Pascal Air Plumbing and Electric. Arkansas owned, Arkansas operated. GoPascal.com.
Thanks for watching us here on ESPN Arkansas. Download the brand new Hit That Line Now app in the Apple and Google Play stores. ESPN Arkansas, more than just radio stations.
Tommy Kraft here. When it came time for new gates and some fence repairs at my home, the Fence Man was my first call. The Fence Man does it all, from large commercial jobs to small residential repairs. Wood privacy fence, vinyl fence, commercial or residential chain link, even custom wrought iron fencing. 479-782-3936. 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit is now available. If it involves fencing, the Fence Man does it. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work. 479-782-3936.
A dandy white perch. Big old slab. C'est bon, sacalé.
One beautiful crappie.
It's a paper mouse.
Some serious crappie.
Nice speck.
We got crappie.
They might go by different names, but all prefer the same thing. Bobby Garland, America's favorite white perch, slab, sockeye, papermouth, crappie, speck, crappie baits.
I call it dinner.
BetOnline is your number one source for all your sports betting needs this season. From baseball, golf, soccer, right to all the top fights in UFC, MMA, and boxing. Every stat, every matchup, and even live odds and spreads while the games are being played. When the game's over, head over to our online casino and get in on a game of blackjack or poker or unwind with one of our over 150 slots games. Head to the website today to get in on the action. Use promo code BELIEVE for your 50% free bet credit on your first deposit up to $250. Bet online. The game starts here.
This song hit number 2 without one guitar. Gary Wright traveled with George Harrison to India for spiritual enlightenment and wrote Dream Weaver, describing God as infinite love and compassion, seeing him through the trials of the night. Of the 330 million gods of Hinduism, not one will get you to the morning light, but only through the blood of Jesus Christ. Satan is a master deceiver, weaving many into make-believers. I'm Pastor Heath from Woodland. Think about it.
Hey, ESPN 96.3 and hitthatline.com. Have you been to Swark Liquor? Trey Gentry and his team have a phenomenal spot. It's the first liquor stop in Arkansas for our Dallas and Texas fans traveling up to the hill. So if you're heading to Fayetteville, the lake, a cabin weekend, hunting, fishing, or any other activity you need your favorite drink, stop by Swark Liquor. And check out their apparel too. You'll want to wear it. Swark Liquor, 864 East Collin Ray Drive into Queen, Arkansas. Swark Liquor, we promise to keep them cold for you.
This video is
SEC Media Days at Radio Row. We have Tommy Kraft with us here on halftime. Good morning, Tommy. I think I hear like a fork hitting a plate somewhere behind you. What's going on there?
Ty is attacking. Well, at least he's got some salad. He's got a wedge salad with some fried chicken. It looks like maybe a pork chop and some kind of ham-based pasta salad something. So not a lot of plate. There's a lot of food.
Take advantage of the free food while you can. And, of course, like 9 or 10 different flavors of Dr. Pepper. I saw the refrigerator.
Yeah.
So we know who the official soda of the SEC is.
Forrest Gump would be happy. All the Dr. Peppers you can drink. So
you've heard from Kalen DeBoer in Alabama, Jeff Levy and Mississippi State. Anything stand out from what you've heard for the first two speakers?
You know, DeBoer, I mean, I listened to all of DeBoer, and I'm sure it was uncomfortable, and I've referenced this with others, but Nick Saban's sitting 100 feet from you, and you took over the program from him, and he's right there in the same room listening to your every word at SEC Media Days. And, of course, he spent a lot of his time, and a lot of the questions were directed at the foundation he was left and the program he was left. And what more are you going to say when, you know, the greatest of all time to ever do it, you're taking over for him? So there was a lot there. When you looked at, just kind of some of the other things he got on, he talked about Jalen Milroe kind of out of the gate and how he thinks he's improved his passing game and his passing mechanics. Spent a lot of time on the foundation and that he's worked. But one thing I thought was interesting in the questioning, he's never coached south of Illinois. Mm-hmm. He's had all of his career in the north and in the upper Midwest, and he tried to compare the lifestyle and the culture of Tuscaloosa to that of South Dakota, where his roots really are. But it's got to be quite a culture shock, guys, to go from everything he's ever known. And he's basically minding your age, Phil, and now he finds himself in the deep South and maybe the most intensified college football job there is.
I can still imagine, though. I mean, a guy from South Dakota, just being in a place like Seattle might be culture shock to begin with, even though it's, Pacific Northwest and 2 states away, but still, going into Tuscaloosa where they're just wanting him to be a good football coach, be able to recruit. And I think he's been able to recruit pretty well, too. The thing, though, we hear from Mississippi State, now, Arkansas doesn't get Alabama this year. And, in fact, when you look at the teams that are speaking today, I think, they get Texas, too. So we'll be interested to hear from Sark. That's a game that Arkansas has to win. I mean, just to put it succinctly, it'll be the last game they play in October. It's a program that is picking up the pieces, third coach in the last 3 seasons. You got to, if I'm going to say a game that is absolutely 100% must win, that's it. That's the one.
Would you also define that as the most winnable SEC game on the schedule?
Yeah, probably so.
I would. To me, that is. If you said the most likely SEC game to win, it's probably one on the road at Mississippi State.
I would agree about that. Yeah. Did Blake Shapen is expected to be their quarterback, transferring in from Baylor? Levy's a quarterback guy. He's an offensive guy. So they went with the defensive coordinator after Leach passed away, back to the offensive guy and somebody that has brought in a quarterback that when he's healthy, he's going to be really good.
Yeah, and we had Brett Norsworthy on with us this morning, and he spoke about Levy and the time he spent with him while he was at Ole Miss, and he feels like they're headed in the right direction. Was very positive about what Jeff Levy is going to do, and he'll have to eventually get the quarterback he wants. You hope to do that quicker through the portal, but guys, I'm not sure he's probably right where he needs to be at this point, personnel-wise.
Tommy, do you get a vote for the top 10, how they do this? Who is your top 4 in the SEC right now?
Well, I think Georgia, if your list starts probably without Georgia in your top 1 or 2, you're probably looking
wrong,
at it
right?
wrong.
Yeah.
I like Missouri to be somewhere around that top 4. I think their schedule sets up favorable. A lot of people are on Texas, and I'm not a believer that Alabama is just going to crater because Nick Saban's working for the SEC network and not for the University of Alabama. So I would put Alabama in there. I would put certainly Georgia in there. A lot of people are on Texas. I'm probably not as high on Texas, and I think LSU still got some things to say, even though there's some question marks about their quarterback and whether Nussmeier, a veteran player in this league, can be good enough to get them over the top.
I'm going to play devil's advocate just for a minute here about Texas. The theory, we talked with Chuck about this yesterday, and you're looking at the history of schools that have switched conferences. They don't get to that conference win total that they had the year before very often, even for a few years after that. But look, Texas last year, they looked awfully good, even 2 years in a row against Alabama, right? I mean, they should have beaten them twice, not just the once.
Yeah.
This I don't know if I'm ready to buy the narrative that they're not ready to face an SEC schedule. Because when I saw them play against Alabama, and admittedly that was early in the season, it's before all the attrition, they looked really good against good Alabama teams.
But the part of it that they haven't faced is doing it week after week after week after week. There are potholes in a Big 12 schedule you can dodge, and you can get around an injury. You can get around some of that attrition. There's no place to hide in the SEC. I mean, unless you're getting Vanderbilt on your schedule, and some on the other side of the room might even say Arkansas on your schedule, Mississippi State. Outside of those games, I mean, it is, it's a playoff type game every week, and that's not what you face in the Big 12, 8 times, and looking like at Georgia's schedule, 8 times in a row.
Is this so today? I mean, so look, you talk to Alabama, of course.
Mm-hmm.
Is today mostly just you're in Texas. This is where the Red River rivalry is being played. You heard from OU yesterday. Is today mostly about Texas, or am I looking at it just in too jaundiced of an eye?
I think the week has been about Texas because I think they've been the most talked about team here. And I don't know if it's because we're here. I don't feel like it's a lot of SEC or a Texas-based media that's driving that conversation. I think it's the SEC. It's the new kid in town, and everyone's got an opinion. I think they're the most hated fan base in all of college sports. I don't know any fan base that's okay with Texas. But I think the week has been about Texas, and it's not just because of where we're originating from this week.
Well, and so with the other school that we haven't even brought up yet, you'll hear from Florida. I guess that should be in the next couple of hours. Billy Napier.
Yeah, in about an hour.
So right there, there's a program that it feels like is on notice. If they don't have, I would imagine if Florida doesn't make it to, what do you think, 7 wins this year potentially? Maybe by the end of October, they could be looking at turning over a coaching staff.
I don't, is seven enough for Napier? And does Florida spend the money? And because they are certainly more well-heeled than most. Yeah, I think at least 7 wins keeps, or anything less than 7 wins, he's certainly out. And it's the hottest seat in the SEC, but he gets A&M, he gets Mississippi State. They play going to be a talented Central Florida team, and that game is in Gainesville in a non-con game. Tennessee, Georgia in the cocktail party, of course, and then right after Georgia, Florida's got to take on Texas and LSU, then Ole Miss, and then Florida State. So. 7's not going to be as easy as it just sounds when you look over the course of what they're going to face, particularly in the back half of Florida's schedule.
Tomorrow you guys have Coach Pittman on the Morning Rush. What time is that?
He will be with us around 7:45. I would imagine the team will arrive somewhere in that 7:15, 7:30 range, and because of the way the schedule works, we're going to visit with him, I would presume, on his way over to the Omni from the airport.
Do you with last year, how Bobby Petrino was with Jimbo and A&M, and there was kind of a disconnect, or when they would talk about the offense, there's no doubt that Coach Pittman has given the reins to Coach Petrino.
I think there's zero question. I mean, I think there will be questions about that. I think there's zero question about who is in charge of the offense, and I think that will be made pretty clear. And I don't think Sam Pittman's going to leave anyone with any perception that there's a rift between who's in charge and who's in control. And some of that, Jimbo was a play caller.
Mm-hmm.
Sam Pittman's never been a play caller. Doesn't mean he's not the head coach, and doesn't mean on 4th and less than a yard he won't make that call. I still suspect he's going to decide all the big decisions in a game as though a head coach should. But there's not going to be a battle over who's calling the plays, because there's never been an indication Sam Pittman's ever been the play caller here or anywhere else in his career.
Right up against the break here, Tommy. We'll leave it there.
All right.
Look forward to talking with you tomorrow, okay?
Sounds great.
Thanks, Tommy.
Tommy Kraft is at SEC Media Days, our coverage in Dallas, presented by WT Equipment, your New Holland dealer for over 50 years. WT has earned the trust of the hardest working people in the country. Just go to WTEquip.com. WT Equipment, your partner in progress. Back to wrap up our first hour of halftime right after this.
You trying to say Jesus Christ can't hit a curveball?
This is halftime.
Pay attention. This happens fast. You need money. You get a job. Turns out that job doesn't pay near enough for the nonsense it puts you through every day. You want to move fast, but the clock moves slow. You're smart, though. You know machines. You want to work at a place as fast as you. You call Medley Equipment Company. They need a technician, and they'll teach you everything you need to know to be the best, with pay raises all along. Because Medley keeps you moving.
I'm branch manager Dennis Mabry. Visit medleycompany.com or see us at 4001 Harper Avenue, Fort Smith, Arkansas.
Waiting on someone to bale your hay? Come in to Gray Brothers Equipment and let us show you how affordable owning your own Kubota hay equipment can be. Bale your hay when it's ready, not when it's burned up. With economical pricing at Gray Brothers and affordable interest rates from Kubota, this year is the year to bale your own hay. That's Gray Brothers Equipment in Fort Smith and Poto, where if you pick orange, you'll never get a lemon.
Before you buy that next car or truck, stop by Broadway Motors in Van Buren. The best of the best for 2 straight years. Michael and his team offer the best prices on the best quality pre-owned vehicles in the River Valley. They invite you to stop by and check it out for yourself. Or if you prefer to check out their inventory online or even do your financing online. Michael has built his reputation as a husband, father, and owner-operator since 2006. Broadway Motors, 806 Broadway in Van Buren, or online at BroadwayMotorsAR.com.
When you're clocking out and happy hour's already started.
but you're clocking out and happy hour's already started. The choice to enjoy is easy. Bud Light. Easy to drink, easy to enjoy. Pick up Bud Light at your local convenience store today. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Bud Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
The Wave Rural Connect Shoal Creek Zone is open. Fast fiber internet, TV, and home phone available. This covers Midway, New Blaine, Scranton, Delaware, and other areas. Even if this isn't your zone, check your address. We might be available for you. Get your whole home solution. Internet, TV, and phone from a local provider. Go to signup.waveruralconnect.com or call 1-833-492-8372. Arkansas Valley Electric and Wave Rural Connect, changing the communities we serve.
The people have voted, and Evans Body Shop has been recognized. Voted best in the River Valley this year and 5 years running best of the best independent body shop. We are so grateful for the support of our community. EBS has hundreds of 5-star reviews and countless satisfied customers. We invite you to experience a customer service level that sets our shop apart from the others. Call or come by today to see why we say
Evans Body Shop, where we meet the nicest people by accident.
Hi, everybody. Larry Rath here for Rath Auto Resources and the Meineke Car Care Center with exciting news. Backed by popular demand, state sales tax paid when you trade on our huge inventory of road-ready certified vehicles. That's right. This month, get the best used car your money can buy, road-ready certified with warranty, and get your state sales tax paid when you trade. One more reason all the happiest drivers are rolling with Rath. Rath Auto Resources and the Meineke Car Care Center, just north of Phoenix on Towson, Fort Smith.
This summer at Hardee's, the BLT gets an upgrade with the new Frisco BLT Angus Burger and Frisco BLT hand-breaded chicken sandwich. The classic flavors of bacon, lettuce, and tomato, atop a famous charbroiled burger or signature hand-breaded chicken sandwich, all between 2 thick slices of toasted sourdough. Only for a limited time at Hardee's. Goodness in the making. Order ahead on the Hardee's app. Participation may vary. Exclusions apply by time of day.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
They gotta say it. If you're not drinking, then you're not playing. You, the music, you, got the music in you, don't you? I get this feeling like it all could happen. That's why I'm leaving you for the moment. You for the moment, boy blue.
Make sure to follow Halftime on Twitter at HitThatLineAR and on Facebook and Instagram at HitThatLine. Call or text 877-377-6963. Now back to Halftime with Phil Elson and Matt Jones.
I really had to laugh about this, and I was a day late reading it because it's I don't read Wally's column every day, but I read, I guess it would have been yesterday's column this morning, and I cracked up. Because apparently, if you missed out on this, just picture this for a moment. Wally Hall asleep in his hotel room at SEC Media Days wearing boxers. This is right out of his column. I am not making any of these details up. Knock at the door, looks through the peephole. It's Nick Saban. Nick Saban thought he was supposed to have Wally Hall's room. Wally wrote a whole column about this where he looked really perturbed that there was a mix-up with the room that he thought he was going to get, which apparently was the same number room that Wally Hall was already asleep inside. And I'm just trying to picture what that would look like if the door wasn't there. Wally in boxers, Nick Saban in whatever he's wearing when he first gets into the hotel to go to his room. And, man, you could write an entire series, a sitcom, that starts with that premise, Matt. Just entertained by the thought.
Hey, I'm glad to see Wally Hall still doing his thing, right? Like, good for him. Good for him.
You worked with Wally a little bit in Little Rock, right?
Yeah, he would come on the show some. He's what is he? Is he he's got to be a Hall of Famer, right? Like I know we just had Grant Hall. Yeah, he's a G. Like he's been doing it for years and years. So I'm glad to see he's still doing the medium of the newspaper.
Yeah.
It's good Good work.
He even wrote a little bit about baseball this year, which I've just, year by year, there's an extra column or two, where there used to be nothing. Now there's at least just a little bit from Wally. So that's good to see. And it reminded me, have you ever had a moment where you're in a room or you got a hotel key and it turned out someone was already in that room?
Me and one of my buddies, we're going to a room, and so you take your key card and you can slide it on the floor, and you're trying to see how long you can slide it because our room is at the end of the hall, and sliding it, and then all of a sudden it goes underneath somebody else's door, and you're like, oh, how do I get my room key back?
We had a manager with the Travelers, Tyrone Boykin. I mean, a dead ringer for Ving Rhames. Sounded like Ving Rhames, too. We had him for 4 years. He walked into his hotel room in El Paso, Texas. We had just gotten off the bus, 2 in the morning, 3 in the morning, whatever, and there were people in the bed, asleep. You just imagine how frightened they might have been when Ving Rhames walks in the freaking room, for crying out loud.
The worst is when you walk into your hotel room and everything's clean, but there's one item of dirty something somewhere. There's just something and it's dirty. It can be in the closet, it can be in the bathroom, it can be on the other side of the bed, but there's something that's and you just the whole thing. You're like, I can't do it.
I think it was the Missouri State baseball team that had a few of those things in their room at the Stillwater Regional a couple of years ago. Yeah. Dirty underwear, blood on the pillowcases. All right. Clay Henry joins halftime right after this.
Clogs? Nobody wants a clog. Westark Plumbing knows that clogs are a serious issue. They can signal that bigger problems are on the way. So contact Westark Plumbing while the problem is small. Slow shower and sink drain, gurgling toilets, and outside cleanouts making a mess? Call 479-646-5151 today. Westark Plumbing and expert drain cleaning since 1993. They keep you flowing. If you have slow drains or high water bills, call Westark Plumbing and expert drain cleaning service. 646-5151.
This ad is for the paint store in Van Buren. I doubt you thought paint was anything like football, right? So for football, you need a team. For painting, you might need a primer, the perfect color, maybe a top coat, and bug juice to keep the spiders and bugs away, right? So it takes a team of products to make the winning paint job. The right place for that is in Van Buren at the paint store, and the right place for certified grass-fed beef from M&M Farms in Rudy. That's right, all at 1414 Fayetteville Road in Van Buren.
Is having a vacation sale. That's right. Take a vacation from payments for 90 days and a vacation from sales tax. This month, get your sales tax paid and no payments for 90 days. The lot is full with pre-owned cars, trucks, and SUVs with huge discounts. And right now, there's easy financing and all certified pre-owns come with a certified pre-owned warranty. Your search ends at Auto Finders and Roland. Financing for all types of credit. Check out the boats and ATVs too. Auto Finders, Highway 64 in Roland or AutoFindersOK.com. Your search ends here.
Are you looking for a great deal on a previously owned vehicle but want to avoid high-pressure sales? If so, you need to visit Edwards Auto Sales in Roland. For over 30 years, Ernie Edwards and his staff have helped folks from Arkansas and Oklahoma River Valley buy a quality vehicle and offer a buy here, pay here program as part of their services. Some restrictions may apply. Come visit Edwards Auto Center newly remodeled facility, 3 miles west of the Garrison Bridge, the first car dealer on your right, or log on at edwardsautosalesinc.com.
Have you tried the TGI Friday weekday deals? On Monday, they have 50-cent wings, traditional or boneless, 10-piece minimum. Tuesday, cheeseburgers and fries with a fountain drink for $10. On Wednesday, Cajun shrimp and chicken pasta for only $12. On Thursday, enjoy a half a rack of ribs for only $12. Stop by and check out the weekday deals at TGI Fridays, I-540 at Rogers Avenue in Fort Smith. In here, it's always Friday.
ESPN Arkansas weather.
For today, we will see a chance of showers and thunderstorms. Our high temperatures this afternoon, mid-80s north, low 90s south. Good chance of showers and thunderstorms tonight and overnight, low mid to upper 60s. And we could see some scattered showers and thunderstorms across the south, otherwise increasing sunshine. I'm Sally Russell with your forecast on ESPN Arkansas.
The weather is brought to you by real estate agents Nick and Ellie Glidewell, ready to serve.
KERX Paris Fort Smith. The Bud Light Countdown is on. Arkansas football begins in 43 days.
Coming to you live from the Crabtree RV Center studios. Broadcasting on ESPN Arkansas and streaming on hitthatline.com.
We got a good one tonight. You got to take it in here. That's the perspective. Smith, I'm all right. Watch his thing dominate, and we not doing it.
We're going to go get one and celebrate on somebody else's field.
Yeah.
Phil said you had very motivational words at halftime.
It's halftime with Phil Olsen and Matt Jones.
From the bottom of my toes to the top of my head. My heart, dog. Let's go, man.
I have zero respect for saying no moss at halftime.
Name of one Razorback. It's vintage Matt Jones. 1, 2, 3. Here we go. Right now, let's go to the field.
Call or text 877-377-6963. Now, here's Phil Olsen and Matt Jones.
Welcome back into halftime at 1 minute after 12 o'clock. It is officially the afternoon on ESPN Arkansas and hitthatline.com. Phil Elson along with Matt Jones. Christian Johnston, the C movie, is in the producer's chair, and we will go right to the we can't call it a hotline because he's with us for a couple hours. Hotline is something that is just for a segment.
The municipal hotline.
That works perfectly.
The municipal phone, yeah.
The Hall of Famer is back. The one and only Clay Henry, who we have missed immensely for the last couple of weeks, has rejoined halftime after his trek out west and also turning 70. So, Clay, how you been and how was the trip?
Great trip. It's good to be home. It's great to be in Arkansas. It is God's country for sure. And enjoyed my trip, but as is always the case, it's about a day left, and it's like, I'd like to snap my fingers and be home, but there was 19 hours of driving left.
What's going on around your area right now? Because I know that
it's pretty bad.
11 inches of rain when you and I were texting this morning. Has it stopped?
Yeah, I think it's just kind of misting, a little bit of light stuff. But in Norfolk is we didn't get it bad. 4 or 5 inches. But Marion County, which is a little, it's just a little west of here, on the other side of the White River, Flippin, Yellville. I think Mountain View might have gotten it bad too. I know there's flooding in those areas on the White River. Unbelievably, the river just rose like 30 foot almost instantly. But it's the Ponca area, kind of the upper Buffalo watershed didn't get that much rain. When I say that much, they got rain, but they didn't get 10 to 15 inches. There's some places where it started raining about 7 o'clock yesterday, and it just kept pouring till, like 9 a.m. this morning. Downtown Flippin and Yellville, I think both got flooded, the creeks. And they turned the water off at the Bull Shoals Dam, but it still rose out of its bank because of runoff. Denton Ferry Road, which is, runs parallel to the White River, it had mudslides, and there's some areas that are, people are kind of cut off for a while. They'll get that cleaned up, but it's kind of unprecedented for the amount of rain in that short a time. I don't think it was forecast for that. It just kind of, storms blew up and just kept blowing up.
Yeah, pretty much from Lake Harrison on west past Mountain Home all the way down south through Conway. It looks like there are flood warnings, not watches, flood warnings all the way
flooding.
up until 8:45 tonight. So it's not stopping anytime soon. We still got about 9 hours of these warnings. Frightening. I was just up in that area over the weekend at Gaston's with Gabriel. We had a great time. We caught a lot of fish. Yep. Not the way you usually catch them, Clay, but we did.
I think y'all probably did about like I do. So it's.
No, we did. We weren't using flies. That's what I meant.
Oh, okay. But however you want to catch them, you buy your license, you can catch them any way you want. I'm not one of those guys that. And I do some spin fishing at times, so I'm not just a fly fisherman. But it's a wonderful place, but I know there's in Madison. Let's see. Boone County, Marion County, they're hurting right now. It's a mess.
That's scary. Hopefully it'll slow down, stop raining,
Yes, sir.
let
Did
it all go down a little
Did
bit.
you have any success on your trip? What were y'all going for?
We were trout fishing. Yeah, it's Jean Ann joined me for about 6 days out of the 15, maybe 7 days out of the 15, and I fished 2 of those mornings. Didn't fish all day, and then after she flew home, one of my buddies from Colorado, we trekked up to just south of Casper, Wyoming, and fished the Miracle Mile. It's a mile stretch between 2 reservoirs, and big browns, big rainbows. I mean, you're going after 25 to 28-inch fish, and your tackle is so light that when you do hook one, it's problematic, and they'll run up the runs, and you don't have any power. You're in a drift boat, so you can't chase them. So you have to use your skill to try to turn them and work them back out of those rapids and, into pools. And I guess the biggest brown I caught was a real fat 21-inch fish, which is, it's a trophy. But we had some 25s, 26s, 27-inch fish on that we couldn't get to the net. But it's spectacular, and it was it'd been 100 and something in Casper, which is just a little north of there, but it was like 82 and misting, which is just perfect for both for us and fishing. The water was nice and cold for the fish. There was an area we were supposed to fish around Saratoga, Wyoming, just across the Colorado border, but the water's so low there that the guides didn't want to fish it because it would harm the fish to stress them. So we went to the Miracle Mile, which is pretty cool.
We got people texting in a couple of questions for you just about this. Caleb wants to know if you've ever fished the Little Red River.
Oh yeah, I fished there some. It's not far from me. It's an hour. I wade fished down there at JFK Park and Swinging Bridge. I love the Little Red, but I mean I live on the North Fork. It's kind of hard to beat that.
I would fish the river that I live right by more often than not. That's for sure. I love when you go on these trips, Clay, because he'll send us photos from the trip. It's almost like we're there. I mean, I see these beautiful yellow daffodils. I see Miss Jean Ann by the Mount Zirkle Wilderness photo.
Yep, we took a hike. Yeah,
and then
10,000 feet.
Did Miss Jean Ann also? Did she take the photos of the Brothel tokens in Leadville? Because those are my favorite photos that I saw. These things say good for all night.
She didn't take those pictures. Hey, we drove along the Arkansas River, the headwaters of the Arkansas River at Leadville. And then we drove over Independence Pass back to Snowmass Village, which is basically Aspen. Did some a little bit of hiking, but mainly just kind of tooling around Aspen and Glenwood Springs. We stayed in a cabin just over Buffalo Pass from Steamboat Springs for a few nights, and had to build a fire at night. It was, got down in the low 30s at night, which is hard to imagine, but at 9,500 feet, it gets cold at night.
So are you done traveling for a while now? I mean, you get a chance to pick when you go and where you're going to head. And I know you love traveling, but are you staying in one place for a little bit now?
I'm pretty much, yeah. Okay. I mean, there are no plans going forward. I'm doing a little bit of riding, a little bit of this. I actually did a lot of riding just before I left. I think I did, 5 pieces for Hogs Plus. There are 3 on Bobby Petrino. One of them has since run in the last couple of days about youth fly fishing in the same rivers that I like to go in Montana is where he would fish, same creeks, same rivers in Montana with his grandfather. So that's out at Hogs Plus. And then there's another piece that I did on his thoughts on, he used to flip the offensive line, strong side, weak side. He'd flip the tackles and flip the guards. He doesn't do that anymore. So kind of went through that. And then there's a pieces, that's on, some time I spent with Travis Williams. That's still, and then I wrote a couple of pieces for ESPN Arkansas, the hitthatline.com. Some of those have run. So I think I wrote 8 pieces in 2 days before I left. I was like, what am I doing? This is I'm not supposed to be writing this much.
Maybe you had a clear mind.
12,000 words, I think I wrote in 2 days.
Gosh, I might say 12,000 words all week here on this show. That's about it. 877-377-6963 if you want to get with us and Clay. We got Charlie here with us. He's our first caller of the hour. Charlie, how are you?
What's up, guys? So I took some notes down, Phil, from, your last little bit about Nick Saban, knocking on the door. Make sure you always look through the peephole, because, back in the day, sometimes I just opened the door. I wouldn't even
Well, let me put it in these terms to you, okay? The next hotel room you stay at, if somebody knocks on the door, chances are it's Eddie in Clarksville.
Okay. Yeah. I'm probably
frightening thought.
Probably,
yes, I know.
I'm probably gonna, and I'm probably, you know what it is too. Like it's a respect thing because he said he was just in his boxers, right? Like I'm trying to grab everything I can just to throw on a shirt, throw on something, move everything, hide everything. If there's a friend in the bed or something, just throw her under
Charlie,
the bed, hide
hold on
her.
one moment. I don't know if Clay had read the column. I just want to know what it is that I brought up. I don't know if you read Wally's column from a couple of days ago in the Democrat. Did you see this?
I know about it. Yeah, I didn't read it, but I know about it. Yeah.
So would that be the same as Charlie and Eddie in Clarksville kind of having, maybe not quite the same, because I don't know who would be the Hall of Famer amongst them here, because, you got Nick Saban as one.
They're our Hall of Fame.
Yeah, they would be in ours. They would definitely be in ours. Well, Charlie, what else you got today?
Well, I wanted to ask you, Clay, you've never been ice fishing, right? Because you've done everything else, right? You've never done that.
I know enough about it to know I don't want to do it.
Okay, I can understand that.
You
I
sit
would
in
do
a
the
little
same.
shed. So Frank Ragnow has detailed that, and he talked about having a brand new, I think, like iPhone 30, whatever the newest one it is, and he caught a fish, and so he's going to take a picture of it as he pulled it out. Phone went down the ice hole. So
Yeah.
you don't get those phones back when you drop them in the ice hole.
I bet you don't. And I'd just be afraid to fall in there. But I wanted to say one more thing, Phil. With Hagan getting picked in the top 5, I don't know, does that change, say, his salary? Say if he got picked 6 or 7. And I also want you to picture this in your head, too. I'm thinking down the line here, and I know you're probably not going to believe in this fantasy, but Game 7, somehow this happens. And it's Hagan Smith versus Paul Skeens in the World Series. Because it could happen, because one of them's in the NL, one of them's in the AL. It could happen, Phil. Just want you to dream. Anyways, y'all have a good one.
But, first you got to get the Pirates and the White Sox.
Paul
You gotta
Skeens
get
is going to be an angel.
You're making a prediction here?
His WJ,
from out that way.
Yeah, his WJ came out there and said, "I want to get married and I want to move to Anaheim or wherever they
Done
are."
deal then.
So that's a done. That's right. That's a done deal.
Yeah, he's going to be. He will not be with the Pirates when his contract expires. He will not. They can't afford to keep him.
You are telling me things I already know. That's why I'm trying to enjoy his career while he's there, because he'll just turn into the
But
next
it's inevitable.
Tyler
Yeah.
Glasnow or Garrett Cole. There'll be an injury thrown in there at some point, but there's also going to be a Cy Young Award or 3 or 4 thrown in there too. So he asked about Hagan. No, I mean I don't know what the I know the salaries in minor league baseball bumped up 3 or 4 years ago, but he'll just be making the exact same amount of money that anybody else makes, whether he's at rookie ball or single A or double A. It's just there's a salary structure for what level at the minors you're playing. Where the money is for him now is in the signing bonus, which his slot value is just over $7.75 million. But he'll be making the same as anybody else that's playing for. Let's just look. Let's say that for some reason he's assigned to Double A. Michael Turner's at Double A with the White Sox in Birmingham. He'll make the same money that Turner's making. It's just Turner didn't get a nearly $8 million signing bonus. That's the difference.
I was thinking in terms of he and Peyton Stovall will be making the same. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. They will. They will.
Yeah.
But
But
it was
their bank account will look differently.
And Stovall got like $600,000, which is a nice chunk of change.
That's okay.
But it's also $7 million less than Hagan gets. But again, he hasn't signed yet. That doesn't mean he's going to make. He's not going to. You don't automatically get what your slot value is. These teams play around with their bonus allotment. So, but I would imagine if Hagan is right there at 7.8, he'll get around that.
So don't you think that those guys that are drafted, say in the top 10 of the first round, their agents have already negotiated, because a team's not going to draft you unless they know they can sign you. They'll pick another guy. So they've talked with all of them previous to the draft. their agents.
Absolutely. But I also think you're in a place now with the draft because it's 20 rounds. College players are what the teams are going for now. And if you are I just can't imagine somebody picked in the first 3 rounds that doesn't sign because of the risk. Like if it was 40 rounds or back in the day where you could have over 60 picks as they kept going and going, you could throw caution to the wind and try something that you don't think is going to work. You only get 20 picks now. So they're not going to throw away. Well, I shouldn't say throw away. They're not going to risk selecting somebody that they know might not sign. They got to be 100%.
Well, and not only not sign, but sign for that amount of
that
money.
Dollar figure. That's right.
Yes.
I mean, that's
because
the reason.
they know those first 10 rounds they only have that, and they can't, all at once you're out of money, for your 8th, 9th, 10th pick, right? Isn't that the way it works?
Yeah, that is. But it's also
you're penalized. Yeah.
So you remember Kerstad. Kerstad was picked 2nd overall in 2020. Nobody had him listed as the number 2 player in that draft. He signed for about $2.5 million less than his slot value. His slot value was 7.8. He signed for 5.2. The Orioles were able to use those 2 points, that $2.5 million, for other picks throughout their draft. That was only a 5-round draft that year, but that's part of the difference between what how the NFL and the NBA do it and how the Major League Baseball does it, which is totally different.
Yeah, that's how we negotiated our deals with Tommy Kraft too. Right?
Absolutely, it's all about slot value in sports radio.
Yeah,
it's also
I went under slot. That's why I'm still on the air.
That's right. It's also about Crabtree RV Center in Alma. When you're making big adventure plans for your family over the next year or even right now, there is an RV on the lot at Crabtree RV that fits your family needs. Find them at the junction of I-40 and I-49 in Alma. They've been there for over 70 years. And also online at crabtreerv.com. You can get on the horn, calls and texts at 877-377-6963. We'll kick a little bit more on how this Major League Draft affects Arkansas baseball when we come back.
This is Halftime.
This is the Gimme the Hogs Chuck podcast presented by White Herd Realtors, the Griffin Company.
And oftentimes, the outcomes of that video review is going to play a large role in who wins or loses. So it is important to get it right, but it's also important to do it in a timely fashion. The professional leagues have done a much, much better job in both football and basketball, and for that matter, baseball, than the college level has done.
Subscribe to the Gimme the Hogs Chuck podcast. Go to hitthatline.com or search Hit That Line wherever you listen to podcasts. Don't forget to rate, review, and share.
Do you need help with your next project? Metters Lumber True Value is here to help. A family-owned business since 1936, the staff has more than 90 years of experience in construction and the hardware business. If they don't have what you need, they know how to get it, and they are more than happy to accommodate your special order. So whether it's building a new deck, a paint project around the house, or needing a new set of tools, Metters Lumber True Value has everything you need. With locations in Alma, Ozark, and Clarksville, and you can shop online at metterslumber.com. Metters Lumber True Value.
The tires on your vehicle go round and round, but when they don't, go to Van Alma Tire. They have tires in their name. That's their specialty. Van Alma Tire is all about tires. They have all the name brands and private labels available for you and in stock. So when it comes to getting tires for your ride, it's worth the drive. And financing is available. Ask for details. Whatever your tire need, check out Van Alma Tires on Highway 64 between Van Buren and Alma. Ready to get you rolling on new tires at Van Alma Tire.
And we're back with the action. Coke Zero Sugar might be the best Coke ever.
That's right, Jim. With an irresistible taste and zero sugar, Coke Zero Sugar is a must-try for any sports fan. So make sure you... Wait, Jim, I didn't mean try it right now. We're still on the air.
Best Coke ever? Take a taste, Jen.
Really?
No, not right now, Jen. We got a game to call.
Presented by Sharp Equipment. Get hooked on Sharp Equipment this year. Sharp Equipment has hooked up with Eastern Oklahoma Guide Service for a free guided fishing trip with the purchase of any Wacker Newson equipment. Along with getting a superior piece of equipment, you will get hooked up with a free guided fishing trip for the chance at a catch of a lifetime. Visit them at Sharp Equipment, 6104 Highway 271 South in Fort Smith, or call them at 479-242-1406.
Are you an angler having trouble finding all the bait, tackle, and more for your fishing needs? Make Awake Bait and Tackle, now located in Fort Smith next to Witts Marine on North 11th Street, is your place. Make Awake Bait and Tackle also has the largest selection of plastics in the River Valley. Reactor Innovation, Bobby Garland, Zoom, Mega Bass, and more. Check out the Daiwa Rod and Reels. Make Awake Bait and Tackle, 803 North 11th Street at Fort Smith, 479-926-9320. Also get your rod and reels repaired. Come see us next to Witts Marine at Make Awake Bait and Tackle.
Wes, how many people can a large pizza feed?
About 4.
So I should tell Cousin Jeff 1.
Oh, wow. He's a big eater.
The biggest. He once got kicked out of an all-you-can-eat diner because they ran out of food. How many can a small pizza feed?
I'd say 2.
Our small pizza at $15 is a meal for 2? We should advertise this. That goat'll hunt.
Dog.
What you call me?
That dog will hunt.
Wes, dogs are man's best friend. Goats are the true hunters.
Goats?
Billy Goat Jr.'s Grammy was trained to chase squirrels, cats, birds, and rabbits. We could hear her for miles through the brush. And she'd circle them right to us.
You're not serious.
As serious as a meal for 2 for $15.
You're an interesting cat.
What you call me?
A meal for 2 for $15. Eat Jim's RazorbackPizza.com.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game.
ESPN 95.3.
Everyone right, everyone right. The bunny's what they always define. Apocalyptic beats, announcements not dead. Message to our friends, yeah.
Make sure to follow Halftime on Twitter at HitThatLineAR and on Facebook and Instagram at HitThatLine. Call or text 877-377-6963. Now back to Halftime with Phil Elson and Matt Jones.
I love how Charlie in the last segment picked 2 teams, the White Sox and the Pirates, predicting that Hagen Smith and Paul Skeens will face each other in a Game 7 in the World Series. Keeping in mind the Pirates haven't been to a World Series since 1979. And then the White Sox have been to 2 World Series, like maybe in the last 100 years. So I'm not ready to say that those 2, admittedly, great pitchers. One of them right now who looks generational is going to be the reason we see those 2 franchises in the World Series anytime soon. But we did have the Major League Draft complete yesterday, and I got to be honest, Matt and Clay, this draft could not have gone any better for Arkansas baseball than it did. Could not have gone any better.
The high school kids didn't get drafted. The JUCO kids didn't get drafted. So
not
we're going
a single junior college player, 2 high school players.
And then we had, what, 4 Arkansas guys get drafted?
You had
or 5?
8.
8
of them, yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
Yesterday, Jake Faraday and Brady Tigert went in the draft. Faraday went in the 11th round of the Marlins, and Tigert went in the 12th round to the Red Sox. Boston took 2 Razorbacks, including Hudson White. I like the Faraday pick. Truth, I've been talking about him because that kid's got the ability. I think if he's able to throw strikes at the next level, I think he could rise really quickly because his fastball, it doesn't rise, but it moves a ton. I think that's a really great pick by Miami. And for Tiger, hopefully the shoulder is going to be okay. I'd just be surprised if he does pitch for the rest of the year. But Kendall Diggs does not get drafted. We had a lot of people text in asking about Diggs not drafted. That means he's coming back. I don't think he'll sign a free agent contract as a junior because if he goes out there and performs at the level that he did as a sophomore, he'll get drafted as a senior. So I think that it's a foregone conclusion that he comes back. And you know what that means, Clay? The battles for playing time in the outfield, like just fall ball alone, I'm counting 8 outfielders that could get playing time. You only have 3 spots. So, it is really crowded out there.
Well, I just hope Kendall's healthy because it was obvious that he wasn't this year. And the pressure for him was to play because he was draft eligible. and this is his leverage year. So he was going to try to play, and not sure he should have. And that's really tough for the coaches because they can't look inside that shoulder and see what the issues are. They can kind of watch a little bit. It's kind of like watching Stovall struggle a year ago.
Absolutely.
When he had his shoulder injury and he wanted to play. And finally they had to shut him down. And I don't know what the answer is to that. It's like, you're hoping the players will be truthful to you, but they're listening to their handlers. You need to play. Because you might get hot, and then you can make a lot of money. And now he's going to have no leverage next year.
That's right. No leverage, but do you just pencil him in? I mean, he'll be healthy when he comes back. Do you pencil him into right field? I mean, there are eight outfielders.
Yes. I mean, he's been in so many clutch situations. That experience is just massive. And it's like you look at all those other corner outfielders, they hadn't played in the SEC. Well, I guess some of them have, but not to the level that Kendall has. And they're going to have a lot of pitching back. It is so much different than it was, say, just 3 years ago. That your high school class isn't nearly as important as your junior college and transfer portal guys. And I think that there's some people like, well, they're not recruiting as well. I think they are, Phil. It's just not high school players.
Absolutely. That's right. That's right. And look, they still, I think that it's not like taking an emphasis off of going out and recruiting high schoolers. It's also the understanding that, you aim really high with a lot of them. And then if that does happen, there have been years where Arkansas's recruiting class has been decimated by the draft. You take that risk sometimes. But all they lost here is Eli Lovich, outfielder, Ross's brother from outside Kansas City, 11th round pick. I think there's still a chance he could come back if they don't offer him more than $150,000. And then there's Tyson Lewis, shortstop out of Nebraska, first round pick. But you already have a shortstop on the team in Vaheba Aloy. You got a couple other guys who are coming in who played shortstop as well, Division I players already. So I think you'll be fine in that case.
Shortstops can play 5 other positions.
Right, but I think
Aloy play first, he play second, he play center field.
Aloy will be a shortstop, though, I think.
Yeah. But you just hope that they stay healthy. That's why you sign more. You just don't want to be shorthanded. And there's competition in the fall because you've got 2 sides out there for every game.
You're looking like on the infield and wondering about the corners. Kuhio Aloy, Brett Iredale. He's one of the top junior college players in the country. Michael Anderson coming in from Rhode Island. He's having a huge Cape Cod summer. And then, maybe Diggs either because he came in as an infielder. Can play first base, can play third base,
right,
and of course he can DH too. But you really need his bat in there. I do wonder where Nolan Souza plays. If there's 8 outfielders, and I know they've talked about him being an outfielder, I just start to guess that he'll stay on the infield looking at second base or third base. But then looking at guys like Ryder Helfrich is having potentially the best power hitting summer of anybody in summer college wooden bat baseball. I can't wait to see what Helfrich can do as a sophomore after, he did show some signs near the end of last season that he can hit SEC pitching. The statistics for the year don't necessarily show that, but I think the at-bats he put together later in the year do, and now he's crushing it in the Cape. Aloy had a great Cape before he, asked out. Gage Wood led that league in strikeouts before he asked out, and Tate McGuire's pitching well. So, honestly, the summer outside of Tennessee winning a World Series, the summer couldn't have gone any better for Arkansas.
I was hoping that maybe some teams would pass on Ben McLaughlin because I think but it didn't happen.
Yeah, too good of an idea, the strike zone, I think.
Yeah, and that is exactly what that Ryder Helfrich needed, is to understand the strike zone. He needed more at bats to see that slider and stay away from it. He's got a quick bat and a short stroke, and I'm not surprised by what he's doing. I thought it would happened last year at some point. It just didn't quite ever come to fruition.
He looks, and it's like I'm not watching full at bats of him. You're just seeing the result of the swing and the highlights that are posted on social media. But just based off that, it looks like he's quieted himself down a little bit in the batter's box. You know, not as pronounced of a kick. I don't think he necessarily needed that for his timing. So I'm excited to see what Helfrich can do, because there were moments that made you think this guy could be
He's got some electric talent, no
could
doubt.
be a first teamer in the SEC, and I think
Yeah,
we're seeing a little bit of
so
that right now in the summer.
When, I guess it was last fall when talking to Matt Hobbs, who works with the catchers too, and Nate Thompson and Dave Van Horn, and they start saying, well, he's got James McCann type talent. Well, that's what you're seeing this summer.
Mm-hmm. I agree. Looking forward to they're only at the halfway point too, so there's another month or so, I guess maybe 3 weeks before they start their championship series. And I get a question from Jeff in Fayetteville on the text line, which is 877-377-6963. With the changeover that's coming probably in about 5-6 months in college sports, roster sizes will change, and the talk is that, now remember, the roster size was bumped up for the pandemic and it never went back down. Looks like it's going to go back down, but you'll have a fully funded baseball program as long as the league that you're playing in agrees to do this, and there's no sign the SEC wouldn't do that. 32 or 35 players, but they'll all be on scholarship, full scholarship. Now, you do wonder a little bit about attrition when it comes to a pitching staff, but I will say, the last 5 players on a team very often never see the field to begin with, and they have to redshirt sometimes. So I don't think it's bad. I'd be surprised if it's down to 32. I think 35 would be right about where they settle. But I think all those details will come out probably about January, because that's when apparently this House settlement should become official with the NCAA and its member schools. All right, we'll break here on halftime. Again, you want to get on with us, it's 877-377-6963. SEC Media Days continues in Dallas. We'll hit on some of those notes in just a moment.
Oh, come on, guys. It's so simple. Maybe you need a refresher course. It's all ball bearings nowadays.
This is halftime.
ESPN Arkansas is kicking off college football live from Radio Row in Dallas, Texas at SEC Media Days. Our shows provide insight on player and coach interviews, including special moments throughout the entire week. Make sure to tune in to the Morning Rush, Halftime, and Ruskin and Zach to get this unique coverage. Presented by the Stadium Shop on Razorback, WT Equipment, and Limbird Real Estate Group. You can now download our new app in the iTunes or Google Play Store. Listen anytime and anywhere on your favorite mobile device. Just search Hit That Line now.
Hog fans, this is Matt.
This is Robert.
This is Elizabeth, and we're with the Stadium Shop on Razorback.
The only local, family, and alumni-owned Razorback store.
Yep, our names are on Senior Walk, and we understand what that charging Razorback means.
From new students to season ticket holders, we have everything you need.
From floor coverings, wall art, game room items, and other stuff to decorate your home or dorm room.
To things for your pet or all sorts of clothing, we have it all.
We feature brands like Champion, Cutter and Buck, Tommy Bahama, Columbia, and many, many others, all in the largest Razorback store south of the North Pole.
You know, your dad's side's starting to go viral.
Hey, what is that a new thing? Can I get a pill or a shot for that?
Anyway, you can call us at 479 Stadium or 479-782-3486.
Or drop by the store at 989 South Razorback Road next to Baumwalker Stadium in Fayetteville. If you need to, you can shop us online at them web things.
Dad, let me do this. What he means is our website, which is shoponrazorback.com.
Folks, it does not get more Razorback than us.
Go Hogs.
This is halftime.
Waiting on someone to bale your hay? Come in to Gray Brothers Equipment and let us show you how affordable owning your own tool.
This video is powered by the pros at Pascal Air Plumbing and Electric. Arkansas owned, Arkansas operated. GoPascal.com.
Thanks for watching us here on ESPN Arkansas. Download the brand new Hit That Line Now app in the Apple and Google Play stores. ESPN Arkansas, more than just radio stations.
Tommy Kraft here. When it came time for new gates and some fence repairs at my home, the Fence Man was my first call. The Fence Man does it all, from large commercial jobs to small residential repairs. Wood privacy fence, vinyl fence, commercial or residential chain link, even custom wrought iron fencing. 479-782-3936. 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit is now available. If it involves fencing, the Fence Man does it. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work. 479-782-3936.
A dandy white perch. Big old slab. C'est bon, sacalé.
One beautiful crappie.
It's a paper mouse. Some serious crappie. Nice speck.
We got crappie.
They might go by different names, but all prefer the same thing. Bobby Garland, America's favorite white perch, slab, sockeye, papermouth, crappie, speck, crappie baits.
I call it dinner.
BetOnline is your number one source for all your sports betting needs this season. From baseball, golf, soccer, right to all the top fights in UFC, MMA, and boxing. Every stat, every matchup, and even live odds and spreads while the games are being played. When the game's over, head over to our online casino and get in on a game of blackjack or poker or unwind with one of our over 150 slots games. Head to the website today to get in on the action. Use promo code BELIEVE for your 50% free bet credit on your first deposit up to $250. Bet online. The game starts here.
This song hit number 2 without one guitar. Gary Wright traveled with George Harrison to India for spiritual enlightenment and wrote Dream Weaver, describing God as infinite love and compassion, seeing him through the trials of the night. Of the 330 million gods of Hinduism, not one will get you to the morning light, but only through the blood of Jesus Christ. Satan is a master deceiver, weaving many into make-believers. I'm Pastor Heath from Woodland. Think about it.
Hey, ESPN 96.3 and HitThatLine.com. Have you been to Swark Liquor? Trey Gentry and his team have a phenomenal spot. It's the first liquor stop in Arkansas for our Dallas and Texas fans traveling up to the hill. So if you're heading to Fayetteville, the lake, a cabin weekend, hunting, fishing, or any other activity you need your favorite drink, stop by Swark Liquor. And check out their apparel too. You'll want to wear it. Swark Liquor, 864 East Colin Ray Drive in Queen, Arkansas. Swark Liquor, we promise to keep them cold for you.
This video.
Welcome back to Halftime with Phil Elson and Matt Jones. Got a question or comment for the guys? Call or text 877-377-6963. Let's get back to the show with the voice of Arkansas Razorback baseball, Phil Elson, and Razorback football legend Matt Jones.
Hall of Famer Clay Henry is also with us here for the remainder of the show on Halftime. Today at SEC Media Days, Kalen DeBoer and Jeff Lebby have already spoken. Billy Napier should be getting going in a little more than an hour, and then Steve Sarkisian will close things up. Clay, tomorrow is Sam Pittman and Arkansas. They will kick things off the last day of SEC Media Days. Is it important for Coach Pittman to be able to express any sort of sentiment about his team specifically coming into SEC Media Days? Because I got to be honest, to me, it feels like the narrative is already written by people that are writing about this football team. It's that Sam's coaching for his job, and maybe that's true, but I don't know if he can say anything that'll make people feel different about that.
Well, I don't think that should be a worry. I mean, it's your results are going to speak. What he says is not that important, unless it's to make sure that you have good attendance. I mean, I don't know how that would change it. Tickets are already bought, and but what he says to his team is more important than what he says in this deal. Other than sometimes I think the players read what the coach says, and they want to they want to have some confidence in what their coach feels about them. So Phil, I saw all the scrimmages. This team is better than last year. They're more physical. They're tougher. Everything about what they did since last December has been about toughness, the way they practiced. And both in talking to Bobby Petrino and Travis. Now, Bobby Petrino and Travis Williams says that Sam Pittman set the narrative of what he wanted, the toughness in the off season. But that, if you go back to everything Bobby Petrino said and did the first go round, which I was really in the trenches with, covering on a daily basis, it was about not turning down a hit, staying in bounds, taking on everybody offensively, fighting for every yard, and they scrimmaged in a tough physical way and stressed the running game with that offensive line. And that's the way you have to play in the SEC. And we all know that he's going to have a passing game and a mindset that gets the right matchups. But it's about, can you run the ball? And I think they're more physical at running back, and they're better at offensive tackle, and they're better across the board, man-to-man offensively. And Travis Williams says that helped their defense to practice in a way. I mean, if you go back to the spring of 2023, the defensive ends just mauled the offense. And we all thought, well, they've got great defensive ends. No, they weren't very good in the offensive line. And the way the offensive line performed this spring helped the defense. And Travis Williams spoke to that when we sat a few weeks ago. And I just think it's a more physical, better Arkansas team that's more geared to play in the SEC than they were last year. And they're better in a lot of positions, not just offensive tackle. I think they're better at quarterback.
So then one of the things that I'd like to hear that I think people will then ask about is the toughness of this football team, and not just to Coach Pittman, but also to the 3 player representatives that will be on hand, which includes Taylon Green. Again, it's nothing that you can say, I think, that's going to change someone who covers the sports perception of the team or the program right now. You'll start to change that perception, I think, if you beat Oklahoma State the second week. But I think what we want to feel is that, just like you brought up, a team that is tougher and will play tougher and maybe might be a little hungrier. I think it's fair to say that in some situations you got hungrier players at very important positions that have things to prove right now.
I think there's a little bit into last year. We had no identity on offense. There was talk about how, well, the plays that we're running in the game are plays that we haven't practiced in practice. It was something. I mean, you fired your OC in the middle of the season. So what I think you'll have this year, I think you're going to have an identity on offense. I don't think we're going to go out there and be wondering, who are we? What kind of Arkansas offense? No, Bobby Petrino will know. We'll know exactly what type of offense we want to be and who we are. We will have an identity on offense. In that case, I think we have an identity on defense. We're an opportunistic defense that bends and doesn't break, and then
forces turnover.
Exactly. Inside the 20-20, man, you rack up all the yards you want to, but we got to get off the field on third down, and you got to force turnovers. And I think that's going to continue into to Clay, to your point. I think Travis Williamson is going to have an uptick as well. I think he's going to do better as a DC in his second year.
So look at the numbers from their defense last year, and it was the best in 10 years. But they were so bad in so many other areas offensively that we just didn't notice. But there were several games that scoring defensive touchdowns and getting turnovers, kept the games in play a little longer than, they think they're better on defense. And Travis Williams really enjoyed the scrimmages with Bobby Petrino. I had forgotten this, and I was like, well, what did you think of Coach Petrino being around him? And he goes, well, I was a player at Auburn when he was offensive coordinator. I was a player with the Falcons when he was head coach. I knew what we were going to do. I knew what scrimmages were going to be like, and says we embraced that, and it helped our defense. They've got some SEC ability. I don't, they're not on par with there's 5 or 6 teams that I think can probably go to the college football playoffs in the SEC if they just perform to their ability. But I'm interested to see what this Arkansas team does, and I really think that they have changed their mindset. They don't need to talk about that. That's not something that they need to, you prove that on the field. Now, I think the other thing that I want to talk about is what they're going to see when they go to Oklahoma State. And it is the type of roster that I think Arkansas should be trying for. There's 49 Texas players on that roster. The SEC Media Days in Dallas. It's a welcome mat to go recruit the state of Texas, which I do not think Arkansas has done the last, since Houston Nutt was head coach. I don't think there's been an emphasis to recruit Texas the way it should be. And, Matt, your teammates there were a lot of Texans.
Caleb Miller, Texas guy. Jason Peters, Texas guy.
Great players, NFL players. Go recruit that US 59 corridor from Texarkana to Beaumont. I mean, it's been so good to the Razorbacks. But there we are. We're in Dallas for media days. We've got Texas in the league. Go recruit there. Put all 10 coaches down there and get your roster built with Texas players and a sprinkle of Arkansas players.
31 Texas players at Arkansas right now.
Not enough.
Yeah, you texted in yesterday that it should be 50. You're looking at Oklahoma State, and I did the count on their roster, and it is 49.
Now, how much
Oklahoma roster?
How much more money does Oklahoma State have in their collective? Are they 20 million more than Arkansas, or are we pretty even? Because what was that, Phil? Who said that Tennessee had 63? Was that Bill King? Mm-hmm. They had 63 million just alone in their collective.
Yeah, but that's not just football. That's split up. They're spending a lot in baseball. They're spending in basketball. I mean, so when you talk about a collective, that's not one sport. But I still think in recruiting, and it may be that that they're 3 stars. And how much money does a 3-star? But I just think that you can go get battle-tested players in Texas, that your roster becomes significantly different than what it is right now. And I think that the talk about the SEC has just doubled since Oklahoma and Texas have come in the league, because those are the teams that were recruiting that state. And Oklahoma State they have lived in Texas with all 10 of their coaches, and I think the Razorbacks need to be doing that too.
Speaking of Texas, there's a big football game at AT&T Stadium during the NFL season. The Cowboys and the Eagles. That's the football trip of a lifetime. We're going to be giving away tickets and everything else to get over to AT&T Stadium for that game, but you got to be the winner. And it's only one winner for the 19th annual football trip of a lifetime. That's brought to you by Hardee's, ESPN Arkansas, and hitthatline.com. Our first qualifying round is tomorrow at Hardee's, 1820 Phoenix Avenue. It starts at 11 in the morning, goes for a couple hours. Finish a monster burger in 150 seconds, and you qualify for the 19th annual football trip of a lifetime. We'll be back and wrap up hour number 2 of Halftime after this.
This is Halftime.
Get up to $6,500 off on 2024 GMC Sierras, or $4,000 off, and as low as 1.9% financing for 36 months with approved credit at Harry Robinson Buick GMC. The 2024 GMC Sierra 1500 has a 5.3-liter V8 engine, so you can conquer the road with confidence. Up to $6,500 off, or $4,000 in discounts, and as low as 1.9% financing. Harry Robinson Buick GMC. We are professional grade. Harry Robinson Buick GMC. Exit 11 off of I-540 in Fort Smith.
What's new at Wheeler Power Sports? Short answer, a lot. All new Kawasaki Ninja 500, Z500, Eliminators, and Mule Pro diesels. New Kawasaki Ridge side-by-side is now arriving. New Polaris Expeditions and Ranger XD 1500s. New Suzuki GSX 8R. New 2024 model Polaris Slingshots, including the Roush Edition, are now in stock. Check us out online at WheelerPowersports.com or stop by and see us at downtown Fort Smith at 901 North 11th Street. Wheeler Power Sports, keeping the good times rolling since 1967.
Summer adventures await you at Adventure Oklahoma at Auto Finders Highway 64 in Roland. Introducing Segway UTVs. Fear no plagues with high-tech power sports from Segway. See the lineup of CF Moto and Arctic Cat 2 at Adventure Oklahoma at Auto Finders. You say you want something a little wetter? Well, think summer on a G3 boat or Suncatcher pontoon boat. Financing available all ATVs and boats. Get your summer adventure started today at Adventure Oklahoma at Auto Finders Highway 64 Roland. See autofindersok.com.
Summertime in Arkansas means pond and creek fishing, and nothing catches bass and bluegill in a pond like a Rebel Crick Hopper. You can twitch it, pop it, walk it, and swim it. It's the ultralight fishing lure that looks and acts like a real grasshopper. The Crick Hopper works great in tandem with light spinning rods and reels with 4 or 6 pound fishing line. Available at Walmart, Bass Pro Shops, Academy, LureNet.com, and tackle shops everywhere. The Rebel Crick Hopper.
Bet Saracen is Arkansas's #1 mobile app for placing sports wagers.
There's big news in the mobile sports betting business. Bet Saracen was just named the 15th largest sports book in America. That's because Arkansans like to do business with a winner. Find all your winners on Bet Saracen. Download it today and look for my RR prop bet specials. I pick them, you win them.
Bet Saracen is Arkansas's favorite sports wagering app.
Gambling problem? Call 800-522-4700.
Patriot Transport wants to thank their drivers for their hard work and dedication. The local and over-the-road drivers are essential to the Patriot Transport mission. Day in and day out, Patriot Transport drivers are on the road striving for safety and success. To the behind-the-scenes dispatch and office employees, Patriot Transport thanks them as well for the hard work they put in day and night. If you want to be a part of the Patriot Transport family, visit patriottransport.com. Patriot Transport is located in Danville, Arkansas.
The Wave Rural Connect Shoal Creek Zone is open. Fast fiber internet, TV, and home phone available. This covers Midway, New Blaine, Scranton, Delaware, and other areas. Even if this isn't your zone, check your address. We might be available for you. Get your whole home solution. Internet, TV, and phone from a local provider. Go to signup.waveruralconnect.com or call 1-833-492-8372. Arkansas Valley Electric and Wave Rural Connect, changing the communities we serve.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
And I'm just a waste of her energy. She's just wasting my time. So why don't we get together and we could waste everything tonight.
You're listening to Halftime with Phil Elson and Matt Jones. Want to jump in the conversation? Call or text 877-377-6963. Now, here's Phil Elson and Matt Jones.
I've been having a little bit of FOMO when I get on social media, guys, because I don't have the proper game console to purchase and download the new EA College Sports video game yet. Now, we're probably going to get one at some point in the next couple of months. My son has requested a new one for other purposes. He doesn't want to play the football game. But I have a little FOMO about this. Looks like people are really enjoying themselves, staying up. Just imagine the lack of productivity at some workplaces across the country over the last couple of days, because I think you got plenty of people that are staying up until 3 or 4 in the morning playing dynasty mode and building their teams and everything and trying to get Kansas to the national championship in Troy and stuff like that. But those look like a realistic game, at least from the highlights that I've seen. And I don't usually have FOMO about video games, but I think I have one right now. What was the dollar figure, Matt, that you saw that EA Sports has generated just from these 3 days?
These kids, you go to practice. I don't know how much class they do. Then they play video games for 5-7 hours. But what'd they get? These kids got $500 a piece, and that's a lot of kids.
Unless it's Arch Manning, right?
For NIL. They made over 70 in just in one night, one 24-hour span, which it's the opening, it's the launch. So you got to know that that's going to happen that first day. The game's been gone, for 12 years?
$70 million That is a large. Large figure.
We were talking a little bit in that last segment about Petrino and this offense. Clay, there a lot of people. It's going to come out there. We're probably going to be picked 1-7 in the conference. I think the Petrino coming over to this. I think 3-5 minimum. I think he's better. I think Petrino being there gives us two more wins. I think Arkansas, the worst they can do in conference play is 3-5.
Yeah, it's we're sitting here now and we look at depth charts and we look around the league, and when you get involved in the SEC, and this is what Texas and Oklahoma are going to find out. You have 8 games, and then you've got one other Power 5 game, or maybe 2, and it's what your roster looks like in 5 weeks or 6 weeks that's going to determine what kind of season you have. Arkansas's top 22 in running back. They're pretty good. 5, 6. Petrino's excited about a lot of those players at running back. He started comparing the 2 young ones that we haven't seen yet to Dennis Johnson, and I like me some Dennis Johnson. But it's what are you going to be like when your top quarterback is out for 3 weeks? What's your depth like? And that's where teams like Georgia really shine, because they can have injuries and it doesn't bother them.
Our third hour of halftime will include a visit with Ty Richardson in about 20 minutes or so. Ty, you can, Clay, you can skip out on that if you want.
I did an hour with him this morning.
You don't have to do another 15 minutes if you don't want, but we have to contractually have him on here on halftime.
I'll be there in case he makes us a wrong step.
Stay with us. Our third hour of halftime is after this quick top of the hour break.
There's more to a tractor than just horsepower. A tractor also needs weight to get that horsepower to the ground. With TYM, a heavier tractor comes standard. Many of the TYM models weigh more for the horsepower than comparable tractors from the big names, and tractors that weigh more do more. See Bush Tractor at their new location at 6100 South Zero in Fort Smith, or log on to bushtractor.com to see how they can upgrade your productivity.
Sometimes I'm in a hurry. Stay in the slow lane, buddy. That's when I use the Sodies app to order my favorites and pick up in their drive-thru. They even offer a 10% discount on your first app order. Experience different at Sodies Wine and Spirits off I-540 on Phoenix Avenue.
Every day is worth celebrating at Uncorked. Cocktails, wine, craft beer, bourbons, and unbelievably great food. Uncorked on Phoenix Avenue next to Sodies.
Let's see. Leaky faucet Tuesday. Water flooding the yard. Better put that down for the middle of the month when the bills aren't due.
Honey, what are you doing?
Planning our plumbing problems, of course.
You can't plan our plumbing problems, but you should plan our plumber.
What do you mean?
Like all important contacts, I keep Westark Plumbing in my phone. They're always there when we need them, and they don't overcharge since they know we don't plan our plumbing problems. Here, honey, here's their number.
646-5151. Thanks, babe.
Westark Plumbing. We keep you flowing.
When you need legal help, turn to the law offices of Craig L. Cook. With over 40 years combined experience, the Cook Law Team works for you. If you've been injured in an auto accident, hurt on the job, a victim of nursing home negligence, or need help with bankruptcy, Social Security, wills, trusts, estates, or family law issues, Craig Cook will go to work for you. Call us today, 479-783-8000. The law offices of Craig L. Cook with locations in Arkansas and Oklahoma. We work for working people.
Missing or broken teeth? Sharp Smiles wants you to start chewing again with dental implants. Scared of the dentist? Sharp Smiles will help you overcome your fear. Big dental problems? Sharp Smiles Modern Dentistry and Implants is your answer to your dental needs and services, where your smile is top priority. Get the smile you have always wanted from the friendly faces at Sharp Smiles, 2600 Market Trace, Suite B, off Jenny Lind across from Harps. For more information, visit the website at sharpsmilesdds.com or call 648-9988.
ESPN Arkansas weather.
For today, we will see a chance of showers and thunderstorms. Our high temperatures this afternoon, mid-80s north, low 90s south. Good chance of showers and thunderstorms tonight and overnight, low mid to upper 60s. And we could see some scattered showers and thunderstorms across the south, otherwise increasing sunshine. I'm Sally Russell with your forecast on ESPN Arkansas.
The weather is brought to you by real estate agents Nick and Ellie Glidewell. Ready to serve.
KERX Paris Fort Smith. The Bud Light Countdown is on. Arkansas football begins in 43 days.
Coming to you live from the Crabtree RV Center studios. Broadcasting on ESPN Arkansas and streaming on hitthatline.com.
We got a good one tonight. You got to take it in here. That's the perspective.
If I'm all right. Why can't they dominate? And we not doing it. We're gonna go get one and celebrate on somebody else's field.
Yeah.
Both said you had very motivational words at halftime.
It's halftime with Bill Olson and Matt Jones.
From the bottom of my toes to the top of my head. My heart, dog. Let's go, man.
I have zero respect for saying no moss at halftime.
Name of one Razorback. And vintage Matt Jones. 1, 2, 3. Here we go. Right now, let's take the field.
Call or text 877-377-6963. Now, here's Phil Olson and Matt Jones.
Moving into our third hour here on halftime on ESPN Arkansas and hitthatline.com. Phil Elson, Matt Jones, Hall of Famer Clay Henry with us as well, and C. Brooks, C. Movie, C. Unit, CJ in the producer's chair. Haven't heard from him today, but I know he's in there. Did you watch Fight Club last night? That's his halftime homework for the weekend.
Doing that tonight. We've given him any homework yet. Yeah.
He's so excited about this assignment, Matt. He's actually going to wait. He's not even going to wait until the weekend.
There's a little angst involved in it. You know, it's what, the 30-year-old men thinking that they might have missed out on life or been lied to. It's a good movie. You know, I think it's how America was feeling there around 1999, 2001 when it came out. I think it kind of it had a cult following. There's no question about it.
Clay, Fight Club, you've seen it? Or do you feel nervous when you order cream soups anymore?
Hey, we don't talk about Fight Club.
No, we don't. But we can.
Some of y'all been breaking rule 1 and 2.
Yeah, don't talk about Fight Club, and then the other rules don't talk about Fight Club. Yeah. Hey, it reminds me of college and fraternity days. It's like, hey, let's just go bare knuckles out in the parking lot.
I got nothing to do today.
What?
Like, I think is today one of those weird days where there are no major American sports happening today, because it's the last day of the All-Star break. I guess NBA Summer League. There's no NHL. There's no NFL. There's no Major League Baseball.
There's practice rounds at Royal
but that's not in the States. That's not in the United States, so it won't count.
No, but we got USA.
Caitlin Clark plays tonight.
Okay, there's WNBA, so I am corrected. That is major sports. That's absolutely true.
Well, no, it's not a league. It's just her.
That's right. The Caitlin Clark League.
So I look at the bottom scroll, and I don't really care about that one. I don't care. Oh, how many did she score? Well, how many rebounds? And did she get in somebody's face? I want that to be in the bottom. You know, like she's starting to get in people's face. You know, like her teammates are, hold me back.
And it's interesting because she is sort of. I mean, it's insulting to say she is the league, but I think in a lot of people's eyes she is.
Well, it's who I know. I mean, if you're a serious WNBA fan, you know about all that other stuff. But if they say the Lynx or the whatever the nicknames are, I don't know what town they're in.
Well, so put it in these terms. So when Major League Baseball changed their logo and it was Pete Rose, everybody knew he was on the tip of everybody's tongue that was talking about sports. Same with the NBA and Jerry West. I just looked it up. The WNBA logo is not based on a single player. Maybe at some point you're going to have an outline of Caitlin Clark there, but that'll probably cause. Get a lot of people all excited about it, but that's like the exact thing. That's the exact reason I feel why she wasn't chosen for the Olympic team, because they didn't want it to be, it's Caitlin's team, and she's not really going to play very much with them. So
you're right.
But to see how weird that is, because you think Paul Skeens gets to go start and he's accepted his brotherhood. They
got it right.
They embrace him. I don't understand this pettiness, this jealousy because Caitlin Clark is talented enough. Even if she's the 11th person on the team and she's going to play 7 minutes a game, then how come don't come out and say that? You would say this is the experience. I mean, it's how they come out and how these women went about it, which just seems off. It seems off-putting.
Well, I kind of wish they would have picked 10 players and then had a couple of wild cards, because this is the difference between what you're talking about, Paul Skeens. If they had picked the All-Star game at the start of the season, well, then he wouldn't be there because he wasn't even in the major leagues
And in
yet.
one sport that out of all of them, Clay, baseball, you got to put in your dues, right?
Yeah.
Isn't that kind of the thing?
So why did they take all their picks and not save some to see who the hot players were, in the first 2 months of the season? And that's where they backed themselves into a corner by picking the teams so early.
But you make a valid point. Like, there was no outcry about Paul Skeens starting the All-Star. There's a difference
for the
between
fewest?
Well, there's a difference between being on the All-Star team and starting the game as a pitcher. Like, that's reserved for, usually, as long as you didn't pitch the day before or 2 days before, that's reserved for the best pitcher of the season in that league usually.
Yeah,
so
it's for Nolan Ryan. It's for Sandy Koufax. It's for, a guy that's
Was
like,
it
he's gonna be a
Fernando?
Hall
Was
of
he the
Fame.
last guy to do that? Yeah.
Yep.
Or last one, because what it said was it was tied for 11 starts, which was tied for the fewest amount ever, because he had 11 starts. And I think Fernando Valenzuela, if I'm saying that right, he was the last guy to. That was in the 80s, so it's been a while. But
that would have been 81. And the crazy thing is like the wildness around Fernando, like that was a nationwide thing. That was unique. That's different than what's going on now. And also, like, Fernando was a guy that would go out and complete a game. I mean, I'd look it up. I could just take a guess. I'm just going to guess his rookie season. He probably threw like 9 or 10 complete games.
A lot of
Paul Skeens won't throw 9 or 10 complete games in his career.
They won't do that. Yeah. Yeah, it helped a little bit that Fernando was playing for the Dodgers too.
Valenzuela threw 11 complete games as a rookie.
That's sick.
8 shutouts as a rookie. That's nuts.
Skeens
has the stuff to do it, but he won't have 8 shutouts in his career either.
I can still see that motion and close-ups of his eyes rocking back in his head as he leaned back, and it's like, how is this going to be a strike? How's he going to find the plate? And then he would come in there dancing.
And Ethan and Atkins texted in about Hideo Nomo. He was a rookie when he started the All-Star game, but he'd also pitched in Japan in the Nippon League, which is a major league, for 6 years before that. So it's not like he was brand new to playing against teams with wooden bats. Skeens was.
Okay, I'm gonna test Matt Jones's his knowledge of before his time. Mark Fidrich, what was his nickname, Matt?
The Bird.
You got it.
Hey,
we brought him up over the last couple of days.
Oh, you did? Okay,
I got lucky there.
I think Chuck mentioned Fidrich last week.
Yeah.
And that was another guy whose arm just got ruined. His arm was ruined, but he was a different kind of a pitcher. Like,
he was
throwing
pitching
100.
a lot of innings. Yeah.
Yes, he did. And Nomo threw a lot of innings then too. I mean, he needed the same skipper. I think Lasorda was still managing then. He liked to let guys go for a little bit. That's right. Yeah. That's right. You did mention that there is a big thing going on across the pond at Royal Troon. Man, I was looking at photos of the golf course, and you guys know I'm not way into golf or anything, but I cannot imagine a more beautiful setting than Royal Troon. Right there in Scotland on the west coast of the country. That's stunning.
Yeah, and the first hole you've got, I don't know what that bay is or what it is, but it's just gorgeous. And I guess there's some days that you can see Northern Ireland. You will not be able to see Northern Ireland this week because of the cloud cover and the reduced visibility. This is a tournament that it's about your draw. There'll be some guys that get good weather for all 4 rounds, and their scores are going to be better than the other guys in the field that drew 2 days of bad weather. And bad weather might be rain and 30 miles an hour wind, and where you hit a wedge shot and it blows back in your face.
It's also a tournament, Clay, where some of these older players can kind of can turn back the clock a little bit, and kind of to your point there. But I think of Tom Watson doing that. What was that about? I don't know, 7-8 years ago. And when I'm looking at this tournament going in, I look at the Scottish Open and I look at the guys that finished in the top 20. I really think it's going to be one of those guys that finished in the top 20 of the Scottish Open.
Is that legit? Is that always a warm up to the Open Championship, the Scottish?
Well, they've just in the last few years played the same course, and they played sometimes the Scottish Open on course that doesn't resemble anything like a links course. It could be an average course, but they're the I want to say the Renaissance, but the word is the Resonance or something. They say it differently. And this course has bunkers everywhere, and that's what you have to get used to. Is that you have to stay out of the bunkers, and Royal Troon is the same way. So the form of the Scottish Open, the top 20, there'll be 10 or 12 that are in the top 20 of the Scottish Open that finish in the top 20 or maybe top 10 at the British Open.
I'd like to see.
They've got some holes. They've got one hole at Royal Troon. It's called the Post-it Stamp. You get the idea. I mean, the green is just a little dot.
It looks to me like every hole has a name. I'm on the Royal Troon website right now. Every single hole on this course has a name. Hole 5 is Greenan. Hole 6 is Turnberry. Hole 7 is, good luck with this, Tel El Kabir. And then the postage stamp is number 8. So
yes, number 8. Yeah. So the key at the British Open is flighting the ball. And I went out and watched Brad McMakin one time with his guys, and they were going to go play somewhere they knew they had wind. And they had a cord across, like 5 yards in front of you, and every shot had to be flighted under that cord. And that's what you have to do there. You have to be able to flight your shots. And if it's a left or right wind, you need to turn it right to left to be able to hold the green. Because if you hit it up there left or right, it will never stop. So, you have to be able to play it both ways and have to be flighted. So there's some guys that they don't do that. They've played American golf where you hit, high floaters, for accuracy. It's a totally different game, and I think it's unique, and it's why it's fun.
Got to be able to lag putt. You're going to have a lot of 50 footers, 60 footers. Can't have 3 putts. And another one, I love seeing Adam Scott there close in that final group at the Scottish Open, and that's a guy that you would like to see. But there'll be somebody like that hasn't had a lot of success or hasn't won a tournament in a couple years. But Adam Scott's one of the best to ever do. I mean, he was in that Tiger period, but he'd be like number 2, number 4 in the world a couple different times.
So if there's, obviously when Tiger first came out, that's the swing I would like to have. But if you're going to say, all right, who's eliminate Tiger, whose swing would you like to have? I would say either Rory McIlroy or Adam Scott. Adam Scott, to me, it's just beauty.
Wasn't he Clay a little bit? He had that long putter, and he hasn't really won since he had that anchored putter. Wasn't he one of those guys?
Well, he putting was always his weakness, and since he got he had the anchored putting. Now he's got the long putter, but he doesn't anchor. He holds it like
you're not allowed to anymore, right? Yeah.
But his putting is, if he always is going to hit it great, and he's long and he's accurate, and he's going to hit a lot of greens. But his short game, if his putting is on, and it was last week, and there is some talk that I drove 19 hours Sunday and Monday, so I heard a lot of PGA Tour. I'm all by myself. Nobody can say turn it. I heard all this talk, and so I can talk about the British Open a lot. And Adam Scott was discussed that he might be favored on slow greens, and that's what they have in the British Open. These are slower greens. These aren't stimping at 12 or 13. They're more like 9 and 10, which is slow for these guys, and that might help him. He's a guy that likes to hammer it.
Plus 6,000 for Adam Scott to win. Pardon me, plus 5,000 for Adam Scott to win the Open Championship on Bet-Sarazen right now. They've got Scotty Scheffler, odds-on favorite, plus 500. Rory's plus 750. Xander Schauffele is plus 1,000. That is all of the BetSarazen app. If you want to put a little wager on the Open Championship, just make sure you got it on your Apple iPhone from the App Store, Google Play for Android phones, or any web browser. BetSarazen.com. 877-377-6963 for texts on halftime. We go back to SEC Media Days. We'll call Ty Richardson. And Clay, again, you can take off if you want to. I don't blame you if you do.
Because he's going to say something, and I'm going to jump on it.
All right. Well, Clay will edit the interview or the conversation with Ty Richardson right after this.
They were so convincing in their argument. They swung me.
This is halftime. Do you need free legal advice? Listen to Coffee with Counsel with Kevin Hickey and Brad Hull on the Hit That Line podcast network.
Kevin, I don't think you've had a chance to read the police report yet. So I'm gonna pop quiz you. What do you think? What would be your guess of the charge that led to Scotty Scheffler getting arrested under those facts?
Well, assault would probably have to be one of them.
That's right. Assault, second degree.
For more information, go to hickeyandhull.com.
The tires on your vehicle go round and round, but when they don't, go to Van Alma Tire. They have tires in their name. That's their specialty. Van Alma Tire is all about tires. They have all the name brands and private labels available for you and in stock. So when it comes to getting tires for your ride, it's worth the drive. And financing is available. Ask for details. Whatever your tire need, check out Van Alma Tires on Highway 64 between Van Buren and Alma. Ready to get you rolling on new tires at Van Alma Tire.
There's more to a tractor than just horsepower. A tractor also needs weight to get that horsepower to the ground. With TYM, a heavier tractor comes standard. Many of the TYM models weigh more for the horsepower than comparable tractors from the big names. And tractors that weigh more, do more. See Bush Tractor at their new location at 6100 South Zero in Fort Smith, or log on to bushtractor.com to see how they can upgrade your productivity.
Hey, Ty Richardson for Jim. They have several locations in the Arkansas area, but I specifically want to talk to you about Jim Mart number 10. Great deli. My goodness. Great lunch, great dinner. But have you had the breakfast yet? It's the best in town. And they have that convenient drive-through window. So when you're heading north or south on 540, take exit number 6 for Jim Mart number 10. 6201 Grand Avenue in Fort Smith. Jim, the leading gas station and convenience store in the area.
Clogs? Nobody wants a clog. Westart Plumbing knows that clogs are a serious issue. They can signal that bigger problems are on the way. So contact Westart Plumbing while the problem is small. Slow shower and sink drain, gurgling toilets, and outside cleanouts making a mess? Call 479-646-5151 today. Westart Plumbing and expert drain cleaning since 1993. They keep you flowing. If you have slow drains or high water bills, call Westart Plumbing and expert drain cleaning service. 646-5151.
Colorworks Paint and Body in Barling offers professional automotive painting, bodywork, and fabrication that is unsurpassed in talent and dedication. Owner Andy Harrod uses the latest in collision repair technology to ensure all damage is addressed, whether it's visible or hidden, and works with all insurance companies. Andy and his crew have the experience and commitment to give you complete trust in the repair of your vehicle, no matter the size of the job. Colorworks is located at 1206 Fort Street in Barling, across from Dollar General, and is on Facebook, where you can check out their work.
Man, I wish I knew you were here. We hear that every day at In Stock Parts, located off Highway 45 across from the cold storage in Fort Smith. Are you a maintenance technician, landscaper, farmer, or do-it-yourselfer in need of bearings, belts, or roller chain? Or safety supplies like gloves, safety glasses, or earplugs? Maybe you need drill bits, tap and die sets, lubricants, or even a gas-powered pump or generator. Don't waste your time driving around. Stop by In Stock Parts, your industrial parts resource, or check them out online at InStockParts.com. In Stock Parts.
Get up to $6,500 off on 2024 GMC Sierras, or $4,000 off, and as low as 1.9% financing for 36 months with approved credit at Harry Robinson Buick GMC. The 2024 GMC Sierra 1500 has a 5.3-liter V8 engine, so you can conquer the road with confidence. Up to $6,500 off, or $4,000 in discounts, and as low as 1.9% financing. Harry Robinson Buick GMC. We are professional grade. Harry Robinson Buick GMC. Exit 11 off of I-540 in Fort Smith.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
Is everybody happy now? Is everybody clear? We could drive out to the dunes tonight, 'cause summer's almost here. I've been up all night, I might sleep all day. Get your dreams just right and let them slip away.
Find Halftime on 99.5 in Northwest Arkansas, 95.3 in Fort Smith and the River Valley, 96.3 in Hot Springs and Central Arkansas, 104.3 in Harrison and Mountain Home, and everywhere on hitthatline.com. Join the conversation. Call or text 877-377-6963. Now back to the host. Here's Phil Elson and Matt Jones.
Headed to our hotline right now. We have Ty Richardson at SEC Media Days, Radio Row. We got him on the telephone right now because that's how we got to set this thing up for the time being. Clay, we got Clay Henry as well. And Ty, what's going on over by you right now?
Phil Quinn Ewers is walking right behind me. Clay's favorite quarterback in this league. I know I'm being watched. I was listening to y'all's segment before, so I'm trying to be very guarded in what I say the next 10 or 15 minutes.
There's been an interesting deal going on where I guess Nick Saban's SEC championship picks came out. I didn't see who he picked, but it wasn't Alabama, and I guess the Alabama players are having a little fun with that.
Yeah, he picked Georgia and Texas. And get two former assistants of his, and Kirby Smart and Steve Sarkisian. I think he's got a lot of respect for both those guys. He got the better of them for the most part. Sark got the better of them this last go-around. But yeah, I think Alabama players and fans and even Caleb Moore find themselves interested in it. Maybe in a backwards sense. This kind of sounds odd, but maybe he didn't want to give them rat poison himself if he had picked them to be in the championship. I don't know what his mind, if he truly believes that, but it has become a bigger discussion here in Dallas, Texas.
Todd, you know SEC athletes, they look different. Who has been the most imposing athlete that you've seen so far this year at SEC Media Days?
Woo! Cooper Mays, big kid, Tennessee. Texas has got a D-lineman here whose name I'm forgetting. Not as imposing, but just looks like a football player. Malachi Moore, Alabama. I'm curious. One of our buddies called Landon Jackson the Hitman, one of our media friends. And Landon's all 6'6", 6'7", and Taylor's about the same height. So I think Arkansas's got at least Andrews probably 6'1", 6'2". So I think Landon would probably be up there too, guys. He's not someone you want to trifle with.
Well, and Ty, I just remembered this. You brought this up to me, I think, when I started back working with you. What was it, about 2 years ago? But your game came back out. Have you played the NCAA game yet?
Man, I have not. I've left that to Big C. He is. I'm sure you guys know he is challenged. Zach Owens has challenged him. It is. Matt, you would love it, man. It's there's a couple consoles here set up on Radio Row, so we would be very distracted playing each other one-on-one in this game.
I saw Mays wearing a big cowboy hat. I saw one of the Alabama players wearing it. I mean, if you're in Texas, I guess you got to fit to the theme. It's like I saw a lot of, at the All-Star game yesterday, they had a red carpet event for players to arrive at the stadium, and many of their significant others were wearing tall, I can't call them cowboy boots because they're too tall to be actual cowboy boots. Which Razorback tomorrow is going to be the one that wears the cowboy hat? Because someone's got to, I guess.
Yeah, no, you got to remember, I think Clay brought this up a couple weeks ago. Andrew, Landon, and Taylor are all from Texas. So I could honestly see all of them wearing it, which would be kind of funny. They all have a right to, I think, in a certain degree. So, I'm going to say they all three do. I think they show up in different it would be felts with the suit tomorrow.
Got one I could have let you borrow. You have a hat too, right? I've seen you try to wear a cowboy hat before.
It's not a cowboy hat.
What is it?
Clay already has enough ammo.
Is it a Kenny Chesney hat?
It's a parrot head.
Yeah. Oh, a Buffett hat. Okay.
Yeah, I got a straw Stetson. I got it from an awesome Springdale store, but it did not make the trip. It's going to Charleston in 2.5 weeks, but it did not make the trip to Dallas, Texas.
It's a beach hat, yeah.
So are the players that you mentioned that we're going to hear from tomorrow, and I think we might be able to speak with some of the Arkansas players on halftime tomorrow. I mean, Landon Jackson already has produced in the SEC. So is Andrew Armstrong.
Yep.
Taylon Green is the one who's on the trip tomorrow, who is taking the step up this year. You know, it was Armstrong that made a step up last year. It is Green this year. You know, the idea for me is that's the quarterback that Bobby Petrino was recruiting when he was at Missouri State. Now, that was for an FCS program, but the guy produced at Boise State, and he went out and he got him for Arkansas. I trust what Bobby Petrino wants out of a quarterback, and that's the guy that more than anybody I'm looking forward to hearing tomorrow.
Oh, yeah. And one of the things I want to ask Coach Pittman about is, hey, Coach, how long did it take before you knew who was going to be your starter? Because we kind of expected him and Criswell to duke it out for a while. It sure seemed pretty early on, guys, in the process that this was Taylon's team. And he came on our airwaves a few months back, and I mean, I liked what I heard, but you guys like what you see, too. And so, I mean, we keep talking about these coaches having to acclimate to this league. I mean, Taylor, like you're saying, has to acclimate it, too. He's going from Mountain West team to, like, Boise State, traditionally the best of that group, to now being, unfortunately, a lower-tier team and lower-tier talent at Arkansas relative to some other guys. But the good thing is he's surrounded, not necessarily by guys he played. I mean, Arkansas returns the number one group of pass catchers in terms of experience from last year. And they get Luke Kaz back after that collarbone injury. They get Ty Washington back. So you just hope, I mean, is it the most talented group? Absolutely not. Luke's probably the only one that belongs in like an all-SEC conversation. But I kind of like where Andrew Armstrong could be under a Bobby Petrino offense because of the word Clay always uses and Matt always uses, speed.
Well, do we know? Phil thinks it's going to be Jaquindon Jackson's going to be our starting running back. Do we know how we're going to use the running? Who do you think is going to be the starting running back? Do you think it'd be more by committee, or do you think it's Jaquindon Jackson's job to lose?
Well, thinking about like 2010, Niall was the main guy, Niall Davis, and then they handed it to Broderick at the goal line. I could see a scenario where Jaquindon is the main back. Maybe in passing downs, they throw Rashad Dubinion in there, who showed capability at times. And then near the goal line, I know you're a little apprehensive at times handing it to a freshman, but if Braylon Russell is as cracked up as we think it might be, then he might be the guy in goal line situations. So I would say to that question, Matt, it might be the committee team, but I think Jaquindon's still the alpha in that group, even as a transfer and a first-year player at Arkansas.
Yeah, I feel like Dubinion's the best pass catcher amongst them.
Maybe a third down back like Dubinion coming in. Yeah.
I mean, Petrino told me it might be the back that he, depending on the play call and the formation.
And you know more than me, Clay. I mean, there are certain sets that obviously Ronnie Wingo was a part of in 2010. He is Bobby Petrino has a way of, I've heard you talk about this, of just putting the opposing defense in bad situations and matchups. And if there's a certain matchup he likes with, we hadn't mentioned Rodney Hill yet, but if there's a certain matchup he likes with his guy and likes the opposing unit or scheme or whatever they're running the other side, or just the person that, or the player that's guarding him, then that's who's going to be in there. So you just hope that, or Clay told us this morning that room is deep, and I'm excited to see it this fall, considering you lose A.J. Green and Rocket Sanders and what these new guys look like in a Razorback uniform.
And I hate to say this, but I think you're right.
CJ, you had that recorded, right? We can make a liner out of that at some point.
That I hate to say this, that's what I want you to record.
Both of them. Both of those parts are very important pieces of that sentence, I thought. Ty, who else is on? Who are you going to hear from? You hear from Napier pretty soon? Is that about 20 minutes?
Yeah, Billy Napier's coming up. I'm curious because I didn't think Venables was great yesterday. I'm curious if Sark's a little better. But yeah, Napier's a non-starter on our airwaves. Like Arkansas's not playing Florida anytime soon. I don't really care what he says. I think he's got the hottest seat. I know something. Sam Pittman's got the hottest seat in the SEC. The guy in Gainesville has the hottest seat in the SEC. I don't, and honestly, I don't think it's close. I think that he is far and away. I mean, if you can't win at Florida this year, then they're either going to find a new coach mid-season in Gainesville or following after, at least in my opinion.
So is tonight the famous karaoke night? You get, or was that last night? No, it couldn't have been last night. You wouldn't do that during the All-Star game. It's tonight, right?
Yeah, and Phil, I'll say this about the All-Star game. I told you I wasn't going to get invested, but I got invested last night.
I thought it was a good game.
Yeah, Skeens, I'm sitting there. I was so happy for you and my friend Daryl Dapperidge, who's a Pittsburgher like yourself. I'm sitting next to him, and I didn't know he was a big Pirates fan. He told me his background and story. It's like, I didn't know you were from Pittsburgh. Like, one of my buddies is too, Phil. And I was just pumped for both of y'all to watch Skeens kill it on the biggest stage. So he had me locked in. But, yes, karaoke tonight. We've got a Tim McGraw song, Clay, and then we're going to do Mr. Brightside, the just cliche white girl, white boy song, whatever, just to close out the night, hopefully.
Clay, he said that as if he expects you to be a McGraw fan.
You're going to be there? You mean you're going to get up on stage and take the mic?
That's the plan, Clay.
I think that's the only reason he actually traveled. Clay, I think that's the only reason he traveled to Dallas was.
How many drinks are required to take the mic?
One less than Ingrid.
Yeah, a needed amount to loosen me up. So like you have to obviously drink to do radio with me. Whatever that number is, probably the same equivalent.
Coffee.
Just more coffee than usual, I think, is what it takes.
Tell you what, Clay, I'm drinking it right now, man. It is 1:30 in the afternoon.
He's starting. Finally, it took all these years of Ty finally doing morning radio for the last 4 or 5 years. Now you go ahead, Ty, and try to go through an entire day without drinking coffee, and you'll find somebody that you're not going to be very pleasant to be around.
I can't. I'll give Tommy credit. He's never done it, and I didn't do it for years. And then Chuck came on our show and would talk about his regimen. And I was like, I'm going to try it. And I was like, okay, this is why Chuck's energized in the morning. And I feel awful every morning. Not that I always feel great, but it's definitely given me a boost, a much-needed boost for sure.
Ty, we'll leave it there.
Good luck tonight.
No. Break a leg. If it's theater involved, if it's singing something, it got to go with the break a leg for you, okay, Ty? And I don't mean that. That's really just, I hope you do well.
Thanks, buddy. Clay, I'd like a copy of one of those bobbleheads if you could send it. I want to put it on.
I think there's only one.
Oh, dang.
Shout out to Brandon Flowers as well. Crush it on the Killer song.
I'll do my best, Matt.
All right, that's Ty Richardson. We'll have him tomorrow as well when we get back here on Halftime. Our coverage from SEC Media Days presented by Limbird Real Estate Group, serving all of Northwest Arkansas, Missouri, and the River Valley. You can get a cash offer on your home in 72 hours. Go to LimberdTeam.com. Back with Clay Henry on Halftime right after this.
Looks like I picked the wrong week to quit smoking.
This is Halftime.
ESPN Arkansas is kicking off college football live from Radio Row in Dallas, Texas at SEC Media Days. Our shows provide insight on player and coach interviews, including special moments throughout the entire week. Make sure to tune in to the Morning Rush, Halftime, and Ruskin and Zach to get this unique coverage. Presented by the Stadium Shop on Razorback, WT Equipment, and Limbird Real Estate Group. You can now download our new app in the iTunes or Google Play Store. Listen anytime and anywhere on your favorite mobile device. Just search Hit That Line now.
Home is everything. It's your sanctuary, your command center, your music room, and your art studio. It's where you eat family dinners and make lasting memories. When you use a Weichert agent to help you find your home, we'll help you find the space to make it yours. When you begin your search, know that a Weichert agent will be there with you every step of the way. Because at Weichert Realtors, we guide you home. To get started, call your local Weichert agent and look for our bright yellow signs all over town. At Weichert Realtors, we sell more because we do more. Each Weichert franchised office is independently owned and operated.
eBay Motors is here for the ride. Go ahead, feel your engine. Admire that perfectly installed exhaust. Your vehicle's moving along this freeway like it was made from fresh installs and a whole lot of love. With eBay Motors, you get over 122 million parts to keep it running. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, they'll be the perfect fit every time. Plus, at these prices, well, we're burning rubber, not cash. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
You're listening to Halftime Live from the Crabtree RV Center studios. Crabtree RV Center, where RVing is life.
Whether it's torque, horsepower, or just extreme work, diesel trucks do their job. But when your diesel truck needs maintenance or repair, it's time to head to Extreme Diesel. Everything from standard maintenance to extreme repairs, including injector testing. Extreme Diesel delivers. They have the tools and service for your Cummins, Duramax, or Power Stroke. You trust your truck to deliver on your needs, and you can trust your truck at Extreme Diesel, 6630 Alma Highway between Van Buren and Alma. Check them out on Facebook or give them a call at 651-3363. They're bilingual, now offering CP4 solutions for both Chevy and Ford.
Waiting on someone to bale your hay? Come in to Gray Brothers Equipment and let us show you how affordable only your own Kubota hay equipment can be. Bale your hay when it's ready, not when it's burned up. With economical pricing at Gray Brothers and affordable interest rates from Kubota, this year is the year to bale your own hay. That's Gray Brothers Equipment in Fort Smith and Poto, where if you pick orange, you'll never get a lemon.
What's new at Wheeler Power Sports? Short answer, a lot. All new Kawasaki Ninja 500, Z500, Eliminators, and Mule Pro Diesels. New Kawasaki Ridge side-by-side is now arriving. New Polaris Expeditions and Ranger XD 1500s. New Suzuki GSX 8R. New 2024 model Polaris Slingshots, including the Roush Edition, are now in stock. Check us out online at WheelerPowersports.com or stop by and see us at downtown Fort Smith at 901 North 11th Street. Wheeler Power Sports, keeping the good times rolling since 1967. Has your job been grinding your gears lately? Then let me tell you about Lavorne Lumber. They're looking to fill a regional over-the-road position. They use brand new equipment in your home every weekend. Don't think you're getting paid enough? That's not the case at Lavorne Lumber. They're highly competitive in that area. So if this sounds like a great next job opportunity for you, then stop by and see Pam and the Bills Monday through Friday from 9 to 4 at Lavorne Lumber. 515 Phoenix Avenue in Fort Smith and online at Lavorne, Lovvorn, lumber.com. Summer is here and adventure is calling. Visit Southern Tire Mart for a new set of Yokohama tires to get your vehicle ready for summer travels. Southern Tire Mart is your trusted partner for top quality tires, professional services, and competitive pricing. Visit us in Fort Smith at 9700 Highway 271 and let Southern Tire Mart ensure your vehicle is ready for the open road. Southern Tire Mart is a proud dealer of Yokohama tires. We keep America rolling.
Hey, this is Dr. Charlie Liggett with River Valley Smile Center. We dial 782-8940.
Coach Todd Holland, head baseball coach of the University of Arkansas Fort Smith Lions. I call 782-8940.
Stay cool this summer with a York high-efficiency HVAC unit. Or for more information on endless hot water and high-efficiency tankless water heaters, give us a call at 782-8940.
That's 782-8940.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
Make sure to follow Halftime on Twitter at HitThatLineAR and on Facebook and Instagram at HitThatLine. Call or text 877-377-6963. Now back to Halftime with Phil Elson and Matt Jones.
Yeah, there's some really amazing photos. I see Alex Libby, a meteorologist on the KRK, posted photos of. See, this is the a trout dock, Angler's Trout Dock in Mountain View, which looks like it may wash into the river. The White River is up so high that it is basically taking that dock into the river with it, and there's just some scary, scary stuff going on in north central Arkansas right now. And the river's still rising, Clay, is it not?
Well, it's fallen in the upper White. But, those floodwaters that raged, through, Marion County and those areas, well, now they're getting into the Stone County area, the lower White. Mountain View apparently had 15, 16, 17 inches in some areas. And it's hard to fathom that much rain in a valley that has a major river. And so the drainage, and I just saw a video of a camper floating down Sylamore Creek into the White River.
Wow.
You know, like an RV kind of deal. You know, so RV parks that are close to the river, you know, the creeks are rising through there. It's a major event, and happened in you know, the forecasts weren't for this kind of rain, so it surprised everybody. And then we had the hurricane barrels, that how you say it, dumped rain 2 weeks ago, so the ground was saturated, 3-4 inches of rain in these areas. So that's the recipe for having major floods.
It looks like the storm has ended right around Bull Shoals Dam. Flippin still has it on the radar. Mountain Home still getting rain. Mountain View still getting a lot of rain. Calico Rock. So it's certainly
Norfolk,
not out of our listening area yet.
We're not getting any more rain. But the damage has been done, and the Buffalo's still emptying, Crooked Creek, and then, like I say, Sylamore Creek, that's down at Mountain View. Those are major drainage creeks. They don't have any dam storage. So, anything that happened north of us, you've got major reservoirs to store the floodwaters, but not in this area of the White River.
Clay, there was something I thought you made the right person to ask about this. I saw where Donald Bobbitt has announced his retirement as the University of Arkansas president. Now, that's for the entire system. So he's over the whole system, UAPB, UAFS, U of A, UALR, all of those schools right inside the system. And by the way, I used to live right across the street from the president's, I can't call it a house because it's like a campus, in Camac Village, that little compound right inside Little Rock. Lived right across the street from it when B. Allen Sugg was the president, and I always thought to myself, there's some interesting stuff going on inside those gates. But does this affect Razorback athletics?
Not in a major way. So to explain kind of how this works, I think that the UA system, they pretty much let the chancellors do things on their campus.
Okay.
And the system president reports to the board. He works at the pleasure of the board. And I think that Board of Trustees appointments are more significant than who the system president is. He presides at meetings, but I don't see that there'll be, one of the names I've heard that will be lobbying for this position will be Asa Hutchinson, which that would be interesting. I think he played a big part in the matchup of ASU and Arkansas and how that went down to, fill his stadium. They spent a lot of money on War Memorial Stadium, but there hasn't been like huge swings related to the system president on the University of Arkansas campus. Not that I remember. Let's put it that way. He's not stood in the way of what the chancellor and say the athletic director and the chancellor are more important on that campus than the system president.
Okay, and like you're saying, the actual trustees,
the board of trustees is where the action is.
Earlier in the show, Matt Jones had said he expects Arkansas could win. Looking at it, did you say like a floor of 3 SEC victories this year?
Well, I'm with Clay now. I haven't seen them as much as Clay has so far, but I do think we're going to be better in a lot of spots. I think that our offense is going to be a lot. You fired your OC in the middle of the season. I think we're going to be better on third down. I think we're going to be a more efficient offense. I think Coach Petrino there just being there is 2 wins, or at least 1.5. I think you're. Like your term, WAR, wins above replacement. Dan Enos to Bobby Petrino. I'd have to say that's at least 1.5 wins. So, it's just how it is. And I think there's a little bit you're looking for whatever reason. If it's a chip on your shoulder, you got to come together for a common goal, for a common purpose. And 1-7 last year, I just don't see us going 1-7 again. I think we're going to get better. Arkansas is the type of team that. You go 1-7 1 year, you're going to be better. I could see us being. I think our peak though, Phil, would be 4-4, in conference. I think that might be our ceiling. I don't see us going 5-3 in conference play. I legitimately think we have a shot, no question about it, to go 3-5 in conference play.
3 conference wins ought to guarantee you at least 6. The question would be the Oklahoma State game. Can you get to 7 wins?
That game.
Go ahead.
Yeah. So when I look at going to Stillwater and think, that early's better than late as far as playing Oklahoma State. They've had some clunkers early, but it's that's going to be a big game for Oklahoma State because they were embarrassed that Oklahoma went to the SEC. They're not going to play Oklahoma anymore. But this is their Oklahoma. This is a neighbor, an SEC neighbor that's coming to town, and it'll be a big game for them. I hope that it's that big a game for Arkansas. I would imagine that it won't be. So that game, I don't have high hopes for that. And I've heard some people say, well, you'll find out about this team that week. I don't think that's necessarily true. I think you'll find out later in the season for Arkansas what they have and how they're going to roll through this. But the key to this season that I have seen, when Bobby Petrino came the first go round, I asked him about, like in the early summer when I had a one-on-one with him, I asked him about leaders, and he said, I don't want our players to be leaders. I want them to be followers. I want them to follow the coaches because we're installing a new system. We're installing a new mindset. And so I asked him, I said, are you laying it out the same way this time? He says, well, you want your players to follow the coaches, but what I identified in the winter is that we've got good leaders, and some of them are new players, and they've played. We've got a quarterback that will lead. And he said, he named 6 or 7 that he thought were lead, and 2 of them were tackles, offensive tackles. That's a really good sign for this team. One of them was a center. Now he named 2 running backs. So I think in a wide receiver. So I think that's a good sign for this team that he trusts what he has as leaders, and he's not saying follow me. He's got players that that are buying into him, that he trusts. That's a good sign.
You look at the schedule and wondering where some of these wins can come from. I think some of your toughest opponents are coming into Fayetteville this year.
They are.
Tennessee, Ole Miss, LSU, Texas. I think you can go to Auburn, win a game at Auburn. I think you can go into Starkville, win a game against Mississippi State. We'll see what happens when the Mizzou game comes around, because by then the sort of season you've had, and I'm not willing to make any predictions about that game right now. But I see 3-4 wins potentially out there on the schedule. Yes.
Again, what happens after week 3 or 4, and what your team is like? Are you healthy? And do you have momentum? And I'll go back to Houston Nutt's first team. Nobody saw that coming. Nobody predicted that. You can be an underdog and gain momentum. And I'll go back to 20 years ago, the 2004 Arkansas baseball team. They were picked last in the SEC. Now, that's a different deal. Nobody really had a handle on what Dave Van Horn could do coaching-wise. But Bobby Petrino can coach. And, they might catch some lightning in a bottle. It's okay to be an underdog. That can work at your advantage. It's not okay to be an underdog when you suck. It just didn't. If you're bad, then you're an underdog for a reason. We don't know if they deserve to be an underdog right now.
Stay with us. We'll be back to wrap up halftime right after this quick break.
This is halftime.
Missing or broken teeth? Sharp Smiles wants you to start chewing again with dental implants. Scared of the dentist? Sharp Smiles will help you overcome your fear. Big dental problems? Sharp Smiles Modern Dentistry and Implants is your answer to your dental needs and services, where your smile is top priority. Get the smile you have always wanted from the friendly faces at Sharp Smiles, 2600 Market Trace, Suite B, off Jenny Lind across from Harps. For more information, visit the website at sharpsmilesdds.com or call 648-9988.
Do you need help with your next project? Metters Lumber True Value is here to help. A family-owned business since 1936, the staff has more than 90 years of experience in construction and the hardware business. If they don't have what you need, they know how to get it, and they are more than happy to accommodate your special order. So whether it's building a new deck, a paint project around the house, or needing a new set of tools, Metters Lumber True Value has everything you need. With locations in Alma, Ozark, and Clarksville, and you can shop online at metterslumber.com. Metters Lumber True Value.
Sometimes I'm in a hurry. Stay in the slow lane, buddy. That's when I use the Sodies app to order my favorites and pick up in their drive-thru. They even offer a 10% discount on your first app order. Experience different at Sodies Wine and Spirits off I-540 on Phoenix Avenue.
Every day is worth celebrating at Uncorked. Cocktails, wine, craft beer, bourbons, and unbelievably great food. Uncorked on Phoenix Avenue next to Sodies.
And we're back with the action. Coke Zero Sugar might be the best Coke ever.
That's right, Jim. With an irresistible taste and zero sugar, Coke Zero Sugar is a must-try for any sports fan. So make sure you... Wait, Jim, I didn't mean try it right now. We're still on the air.
Best Coke ever? Take a taste, Jen.
Really?
No, not right now, Jen. We got a game to call.
Presented by Sharp Equipment. Get hooked on Sharp Equipment this year. Sharp Equipment has hooked up with Eastern Oklahoma Guide Service for a free guided fishing trip with the purchase of any Wacker Newson equipment. Along with getting a superior piece of equipment, you will get hooked up with a free guided fishing trip for the chance at a catch of a lifetime. Visit them at Sharp Equipment, 6104 Highway 271 South in Fort Smith, or call them at 479-242-1406.
When you need tough and paint just isn't enough, check out River City Coatings in Van Buren. When it comes to your metals, paint can peel and crack over time. Whether it's your patio furniture, rims or trims on your automobile, or heavy equipment, no one has time for a redo. Powder coating provides the toughness you need. Preserve your investment with powder coating from River City Coatings. River City Coatings, certified John Deere, Caterpillar, ISO 9001, Packer, and UL provider of tough. River City Coatings, 471-7675 or online at rivercitycoatings.com.
Do you need gutters but think they're too expensive, or that you need to get the soffit or fascia ready? No worries. Call the Gutter Guy. He does it all. No need to call multiple companies to get the right gutters for your home. Call the Gutter Guy. Quality, low maintenance, leak-free gutters with a 5-year warranty. The Gutter Guy also does vinyl siding and windows. The Gutter Guy. Over 30 years experience. Call 226-1259. Call the Gutter Guy.
Hi, this is Melissa with True Grit Running Company. Is someone special to you missing out on life because of foot pain? Let's face it, if your feet hurt, you don't want to go anywhere. Give the gift of freedom. Check out our store for all kinds of options to benefit your special someone. We have perfect gifts for those suffering from a variety of foot issues, such as plantar fasciitis, bunions, tendonitis, diabetes care, neuropathy, or just tired and achy feet. Visit us today at True Grit Running Company, 6808 Rogers Avenue, Suite B, behind Chick-fil-A.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
Yourself object. It's only in your head you feel that's out. Look down on. Try your best. Try everything you can. Don't you worry what they tell themselves. You're away. It just takes some time. It'll be just fine. It'll be alright.
Welcome back to Halftime with Phil Elson and Matt Jones. Got a question or comment for the guys? Call or text 877-377-6963. Let's get back to the show with the voice of Arkansas Razorback baseball, Phil Elson, and Razorback football legend Matt Jones.
Hey, no money down, no interest, no payments until 2025 on select New Holland equipment right now at WT Equipment. 0 for 60 or up to 10,000 cash back, plus free net wrap on roll belt round balers. 0 for 72 or up to 10,000 cash back on mid-range tractors, or 0 for 72 plus an additional 2,000 cash back on a new compact. No money down, no interest, no payments on your choice of the summer's hottest deals at WT Equipment right now. Dan in Mount Ida texted in, says, we haven't gotten significantly better on the offensive and defensive line. Can't see any better than 3-9. Sounds to me, and just based upon what you said you saw at spring practice and scrimmages, that they have gotten significantly better on the offensive line. And I thought the D-line at times played really well last year. It's just the last couple of SEC games did make you wonder a little bit.
Yeah, I think they let go of the rope there when they saw their offense just could not score. And I watch offensive line play, and I think both tackles are significantly better. I think you've got the same right guard, and he was a good player. I mean, he made a second team all conference. Braun. I think Kudus is in the right position. Austin Nichols, I like him at center. He's an SEC player. Experience at Tennessee, and Carmona at left tackle, and Bobby Petrino was just really blunt. I mean, I did the player-by-player for Hogs Plus where we went through and he evaluated, and that'll be coming out in the next week or so. And he said he is an NFL player. He will play on Sunday. His athletic ability and strength and confidence in the way he moves, the way he pass protects, he said he's an NFL player. And I think if there's a guy I trust to say that, it's Bobby Petrino.
Matt, I think I've decided to go ahead and just watch Fight Club today. Well, I shouldn't have even said that I'm going to watch it because I'm not supposed to say it, but I'm pretty sure that's what I'm going to do. Why not?
A generation of men raised by women.
We'll kick it around tomorrow with C Movie, of course. Clay, always good to have you back on. I won't be here next Wednesday, so it'll be you and Matt, okay?
We will handle it. I'm not saying
it's got to get done,
missed,
right?
But we'll get it done.
We'll get it done.
Well, Matt and I are back tomorrow. Colton will be there in the chair, and that's when we'll talk to you next. If you missed anything today, the Eastside Liquor Halftime Podcast will be ready to go. Ruskin and Zach are standing by. And that's halftime today. For Matt, for Clay, for Christian, I'm Phil. Get up, get out, and get better.